Yo, or yo, what's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? I need to get these thumbnails out here a little earlier. Won't lie to you. I got some stuff that I want to talk to y'all about. Right? Got some things I want to talk to y'all about, and I'm sure y'all have some things that y'all want to talk to me about. Should we rehash Portland? King Jerry, what's good? MIG, what's good? What's good? Should we rehash um, the Portland Trailblazers loss? Um, yeah. Hey, Wayne Peterson, what's good? Robbie Cano, what's good? What's good? What's good? Salute to the Lawrence Tears family. Jermaine Royster, what's good? What it is, bro? What it is? Drip more. What's good? What's good? Hey, so I was watching. So I have, I ain't gonna lie to you. Um, I ain't gonna lie. For the most part, I always have a bunch of stuff that I'd like to talk to y'all about. But bunch of things I'd be wanting to talk to y'all about. Always, I always do. I ain't gonna lie. I always do. Always do. Right. But in my, um, I really have to be careful about what I ask you guys, and I really have to be careful about what I talk to y'all about, right? Because we start the conversation with one or 2 points. What's up? What's up, Zach? We start the conversations with 1 or 2 points, and you never know where the conversation will go, right? And like me, I don't look to have y'all speak to me about a certain thing because the show's not for me. SJ3, what's good? Right? So, like, seriously, when we have these conversations, it's not about where I would like the conversations to go. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do like to hear y'all responses to certain questions and y'all takes on certain topics. But I don't like guiding the conversation. So I have to be careful about what it is that I put out here. Right? It is what it is. It is what it is when it comes to the conversation. I say be careful because um I say be careful because um I like to have okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of something that's important to me, right? That may have the conversation go in a gazillion different ways. Right? T. Williams, what's good? So here's a topic or a question or both. So the topic is Tom Thibodeau's pace of offense, right? My personal take is, or my personal thought is, I dislike it. I would like it to change, right? I believe in creating easy shots for your offense. I don't feel like every point you score should be a grinded out um, prove you're a mono against the defense, right? Because I think that wears out your offensive players, and then you want them to play a high level of defense, right? So my thought is, think about what I just said. Think about my thought now. Think about what I just said. I don't like Tom Thibodeau's pace on offense. It's too slow. Or hey, what's good? Point five. T Will, what's good? So the thought. So the topic is Tom Thibodeau's pace on offense. My opinion is I don't like it. My question is, can we change it? Right? And so this is just one example of what I'm talking about, yo. This is one example of what I'm talking about, right? The ghetto intellect is in the building. What's good? What's good, Gia? So the topic is Tom Thibodeau's pace on offense. My opinion is I don't like it. I don't feel like having the slowest pace of play benefits a team because it forces all your scorers to grind out every point. Every tick in a scoring column is one that's grinded out, earned the very hard way. Right? Right? I don't like it. Stephen Fox is in the building. Right. So the topic is, and so you remember when I said this about 5 or 6 minutes ago, right? No, not 5 or 6. I guess it's been about 2 or 3 minutes ago. So when you do this, when you have a live stream, and you talk about a lot of different things, the conversation can go in a lot of different directions, right? So I just said that, right? And I throw out a topic, Tom Thibodeau's pace of play. My opinion is I don't like it. The reason why I don't like it is because it forces guys like RJ Barrett, Julius Randle to earn every point against a set defense. So now you force these guys to if they score 20 points in a game, every point is one that was earned the hard way, physical, earn every basket, grind it out against a set defense. All right. So I open it up and then I ask you, chat, and I got to come up with a shorter name than home field advantage because y'all are the home field advantage, no lie, no lie. So I watch a lot of shows and a lot of live streams, a lot of podcasts, and without question, without question, this channel has the livest, most energetic um, um, chat, without question. Some of that is because your host, Uncle Freezy, comes with this weird, unnecessary energy and expects you to meet him at that energetic level. Some of it is that starting the day off. Oh, does that teddy bear have his hand on a? Y'all see that over my shoulder? Does that teddy bear have his hand on the shoulder of the other teddy bear? Okay, that's creepy. I just noticed that. I just noticed that that is hilarious. Hey, I have family members that are trolling me right now. That's what. Yo, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yo, that is hilarious, man. Okay. All right. So I have a family member that's trolling me. Yo, that's crazy. Okay. They got me. They got me. They got me. But anyway, to my point. It's just funny. It's just funny seeing a teddy bear with his hand on the shoulder of another teddy bear. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But anyway, moving on. Getting back to my point. Back to my point. So, so it was several, but I'm making one, right? So my point got frayed. You know how you have a point and then it get frayed and again it gets frayed and it goes in different directions. It's actually the reason why I brought up the topic of having a thought. You know what I mean? So anyway, I kind of got to be careful about how these topics go, right? I just want to be careful because what happens is I would like to talk over the course of 2 hours. I would like to talk about 4 or 5 topics. You know, give every topic their just due, like 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes on a topic. That's all, right? Because what happens is we don't want to get into the beating of a dead horse topic. Oh, Uncle Freezy, Alfred Payton can't shoot. Really? Alfred Payton can't shoot. Really? So anyways, since we're talking about oh, you know what? Let's do this. For one thing, first of all, let me throw the invite out here for those that want to join. Right? The New York Knicks are in the building. Yo, this is creep. This is creep. This right here, this right here is creeping me out. That's hilarious. I never knew teddy bears had feelings. That is hilarious.
Top of the morning to you, my G. I tell you one thing. A lot I know about you. You talk about your energy. Bro, finally somebody who can match mine. Because I wake up and go, and I'm about this action, boss. How you? Salute.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Get some.
Salute.
Get some. That's what I tell everybody. It's so I watched this movie. I watched this. Let me. So I saw this movie back in the day. It was a war era movie. So I watched it when I was young, and I think it was Full Metal Jacket, where the guy that was on the helicopter with the machine gun. He's like,
"That's a good one."
What
sounds like it?
Get some. You know what I'm saying?
And I love that. I got one better for you. I used to work in a movie theater.
Really?
I was a projectionist in 1988.
That was a while ago.
So I used to show up in reels.
Right.
7, 8 different reels for a 2-hour movie.
Right.
I put the Full Metal Jacket together, reel by reel by reel. I must have watched it over 150 times.
Get out of here!
G.I. First of all, good morning. How you doing, G.I.? Second,
top of the morning to you.
How you gonna I was born in '94, right? So I got nothing about what you just said.
94?
How hard is that to did you mess up? If you messed up, how much trouble did you get in? Like what's the word, man?
If you cut that film apart, and I was 16 years old, 17 years old, so I had to really gain their trust. I started working there at 15, but it was a small movie theater. It wasn't one of the big conglomerates. They didn't really have big conglomerates. But yeah, man, if you sliced it wrong, and I might have sliced maybe I put together about 20 or 30 movies. I sliced 2 together wrong, not paying attention. Maybe I brought my little shorty with me. You know what I mean? Because let me tell you something. I had the keys to the movie theater, so I had instant access. But we're gonna keep it. It's G-rated. It's early in the morning. It's G-rated.
It's rated G.I. today.
Regia.
So there's been a few complaints that you find out there was always really movie buffs, and they would be like, "Hey, that movie wasn't put together right. I'll do you another one." I used to, even before we slice them together, used to have to cut from one projector to the other, and there would be a little beep. There would be a little beep in the corner, and you had to catch that beep in the corner. Then you had to cut the other projector on. I fell asleep a couple of times. And it was blank screen. I forgot to cut from one camera to the other.
Yo,
and there was a lot of refunds that night. Just to tell you, there was a lot of refunds that night.
Yo, is that the place that eventually started having concerts?
No, so I worked at a place. It was by the Union Marketplace up in on Springfield Avenue in what's called Vauxhall section of Union. There used to be a driving range up there too. So I used to get on the bus and go down 78. So it depends. Somebody in here knew about Maplewood and Vauxhall. I don't know if they're here this morning, but it's close. It's close to Springfield, Union, Vauxhall, Milburn, Maplewood.
Right, little M. Night Ghetto Intellect Shyamalan.
Yeah. Yo, it's one of the spots in Newark. One of the spots in Newark is it was a movie theater. It was a movie theater, but it's the first place that I saw Foxy Brown and Jay-Z.
Yeah, that's the Symphony Hall on you're talking about Symphony Hall. It will be a movie theater too. That's on Broad Street.
Because when Jay bought her out, because it was on posters and this is back in the day when people used to plaster the flyers all over the place or whatever.
You had a real street team. No, you really had a street team. It wasn't It wasn't some internet dudes on Instagram, your street team. You had really cats walking around on street team.
Right, and they were volunteers too. They wasn't getting a lot of these dudes weren't getting paid.
You know what I'm saying? Get in the show. They just wanted to get on shows for free. Hopefully they make it on tour.
Yeah. It's because I remember the first time I actually saw a street team, this radio station that used to exist back in the day called Kiss FM, used to give out Kiss cards. You know what I'm saying? The dudes used to drive around in the Kiss van, and the van would stop on your street, and they'll play a joint, and maybe some low-level celebrity celebrities like Eric B and Rakim would get out the van, and you'd be like, "Yo, I heard your song on the radio Friday night." You know what I'm saying?
But did you hear? But Zach hurt me this morning though. He said he was born in 1994. I have a youngin'. Yo, I have a 28-year-old daughter, B.
Right.
I can't. I'm on the other. I could be 26 already. Life be flying by, bro.
I could be his father. Damn, I'm old.
Flying by.
But Zach, for dudes just like you, I use beard dye. No lie, for dudes just like you, man. Because I use SYSU polish just.
But here's the blessing, though. Here's the blessing. Let you know, no matter how old, no matter how young, your passion for the Knicks, it has no age restriction. Right. It's no equal doubt. Opportunity to this thing. And
no doubt.
So salute. I'm just glad I don't look like I could be your dad. That's all.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Hey, so let me do something real quick before we really start doing this thing. Let me do this.
Salute to Ralph. Salute.
I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My family's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Got a Moses and Elijah, what's good?
Yo, what's good?
Salute, man.
Yo, I love that joint, man.
Ralph, what up, baby?
Not much, man. I'm ready to talk a little bit, but I'm waiting my turn. I got a question to ask y'all. I just want to ask. We know what the problems are, so I don't, and I agree with Freeze.
Problems are for what? Problems are for what?
With the Knicks, with Alfred Payton, Reggie Bullock. My whole thing is, I don't know when's the NBA trade deadline, but if it was up to you, what would you guys, what would be a solution you think we should do? I want to listen to some solutions, because it's good to identify the problems, but what good is it to identify the problems if you're never talking about a solution? And I feel like very often people just want to point out the problems and in many different ways. And
I got something for you, God of Moses and Elijah. Let me shout out to Grandmaster Vegan real quick. So I got something for you, and it's gonna seem as if I'm trolling. It's gonna seem as if I'm trolling.
I feel like every time you speak a solution, not just you, but when people talk a solution, it's either you're trolling or you're setting us back. Is my interpretation, but not you specific. I'm talking about most in terms of people.
Right.
It's not easy to find a solution when people just want to say we need to hold on to our assets and just deal with the situation. I feel like. So, well, anyways, I don't. You have something to say. Let me let you talk. So I want to listen to what your solution is.
So I was listening to Sim's new show. Sim Russell from Nothing But Knicks. He has a new show. I forgot the name of it, but what he said. He said one point. He made one point on the show, and it floored me. Not in a physical sense, but in a mental sense. Right. Mm-hmm. He said the Portland Trailblazers had been off for an entire week and had an entire week to game plan for the Knicks. Right. So at the outset of the game, Portland came out with their guns blazing, right, for the Knicks. Right. Guns blazing for the Knicks. And so much so that they jumped out to a 25-point lead on the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? The Knicks on tired legs, closed out the game, and Portland won by 3. Mm-hmm. So a playoff team that had basically a training camp to plan for the New York Knicks beat our Knicks by 3. Mm-hmm. The Knicks, on the other hand, are on the West Coast. Had played two games. One they beat a perennial playoff team, one that missed the playoffs last year. But prior to that, they had made the playoffs like 7-8 years in a row, right? They played a Sacramento team which had the #1 tempo in the NBA, and we lost in a close one to them, right? Portland, however, had an entire week to plan for the Knicks. They had basically a training camp to plan for the Knicks. Right. They jumped out on us like we walking down a dark alley, and they jumped out on us and mugged us, right? Mm-hmm. But the mugger basically got away with a bunch of lint and a debit card that was expired, basically. you know what I'm saying? So we got dusted up some, but we ain't lose nothing, really.
Right. I want to add context to that too.
So I'm here to tell you. So this is my context to what I'm telling you now. Mm. With an entire week to game plan for the Knicks, guess what happened? Julius Randle still did his thing. Mm-hmm. And Emmanuel quickly broke out against them. With Portland having a week to game plan for us, right? Mm-hmm. They still only won by 3. So if that game had been played on a neutral floor, that game would have been even. If we had played them at home, we'd have won, in my mind, right? Mm-hmm. So what I'm getting at is, we say that the roster is super flawed. We say that the roster is super flawed, right? But guess what? A playoff team jumped out on us and barely hung on by their fingernails to survive against us. And you know how they survived? The referee called a foul on Julius Randle. That wasn't even a foul on Julius Randle. You know how I know that? Because those same people that called it They reviewed it in the game and upheld it. After the game, they said we made a mistake. So Portland had a week to game plan for the Knicks, right?
And pay the refs.
They had a week to game plan for us. They knew we were on the schedule. And they came out and gave us their best shot, right? So everything in their favor. They had a week. They have an all-star point guard, right? The officials during the game, there were other calls in that game that were missed too. I'm here to tell you, there were other calls in that game, but I ain't gonna complain, whatever, because I feel like when we get home, we'll get home cooking. We're on the road, they got home cooking, whatever. But Portland barely hung on to beat us. You know why? Because our roster is not as bad as what people think.
It's not super flawed. Yeah, anybody that's saying the roster is super flawed, that's just not the truth. But I'm gonna shut up and see where this is going. Our roster is not super flawed. I have a comment I'm gonna make.
You want to know something too, guys? Like Ralph, I'd be with you if this was the same organization as it has been that picked guys like Knox and you know, not RJ because I like RJ.
Neil Aquina.
You know what I'm saying? Like like we haven't put much stock in our assets because of that. And then when I think some other Knicks fans say we can't mortgage our future, it's because look at what we've done so far. Like, you know, we say late first round picks normally don't hit, which is true, but our only first round pick, late first round pick this year hit and hit hard. You know what I'm like I'm not saying keep every single draft pick, but we got to give these guys who obviously draft well the opportunity to continue to bring in good pieces. We don't want to give, you know what I'm saying? Like we have to look right now, if we want a solution, we have to look for like low risk, high reward type of deals. You know what I'm saying? Like find a guy that's going to bring something to the locker room, shoot the three a little bit, mentor these young cats, and still give good minutes on the floor. We can't just go out there and say, let's give up everything for the first superstar that wants out. We got to be smart and do our due diligence. You know what I mean?
Right. And I wasn't insinuating a superstar either. It's just
no, I know what you mean.
Okay, go ahead. I got a name for you. It's going to take me 5 seconds, Ralph. I got a name for you. A type of style player, and it's no way it costs a lot of money. And I'm just going to say the style player because I don't know where he's at. But if we could add a Steve Novak to this team, bingo.
Yep. And that's you know what? I was thinking about that because, I didn't say it, but I did want Bogdan Bogdanovic on when he was a free agent. He was a restricted free agent.
What did he sign for? Just curious.
He signed. He was supposed to go to Milwaukee.
Yeah, but what was the contract?
And then he went to
80 million, I believe. I believe it was like 80 million.
Yeah.
That's steep.
Yeah. So I mean, we got cap space. So again,
but you can't just go spend your cap space on the first guy that's going to take it. You got to be smart with your cap space.
Well, I think that's smart. I would rather have Bullock. I mean, I would rather have Bogdan Bogdanovic than Bullock, in my honest opinion.
But he doesn't play a shred of defense.
But he knocks down.
But Raphael, I think what we should determine though is we should identify what the glaring need is, and then what positions are available to fill that need. Like say specifically identifying one player, like for instance, say Bogdanovich. Say if Bogdanovich is the move, right? Say so. How does that help us at point guard?
Well, I mean, it's better to have. Does
it make your point guard better?
No, but I think it helps his situation if he's knocking down some outside shooting. I think it makes it easier for him, even though he does. I'm not here to, but I think when you have your small forward Reggie Bullock and Alfred Payton, who's a backup point guard, and Reggie Bullock, who's possibly a backup small forward starting. I think that combination and the point that's the best that we have.
But Bogdanovich is like
I know what you're about to say.
No defense, all shooting.
But he
nobody, and that he might score some points and look flashy. But our calling card of this team is defense. You have to have some shredded defense. You can't spend no
I just
80
wanted
million
that.
on a guy like Danilo Gallinari. Like the Hawks are going to pay for having contracts
Well,
for Bogdanovich and Gallinari.
Okay,
They're
I
gonna
would
pay.
rather have the problem of Bogdanovic than have the problem of saving $10 or $15 million and still holding Reggie Bullock. Is my thing to.
Yeah, but I'd rather not overpay for a guy who isn't going to win you championships.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
If you spend the money, all the money in the world, for the
You can
right
still
guy who's
trade-
going to win championships,
but-
not for Bogdan whatever who.
Bogdan. Yeah, I mean that's just my opinion, and people may not agree with me.
No,
but
I understand what you're saying though. Glaring need is shooting, but our glaring need also is a wing defender who can guard the wings of the NBA that are ridiculously, that are gods like Kawhi, LeBron. We need a guy that can guard those guys, and we don't have that guy on the roster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need it's not just you need a guy that we need versatility. Position versatility, guys that can play multiple positions, high IQ, defense, shooting, move the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just not as picky right now. I'm not as picky right now. I think
that's the problem. We have to be.
I think 14, 15. I think he's getting 18 mil a year. I think 14, 15, 18 mil. I think is
he's getting Julius Randle money, and he's none the player Julius Randle is.
Yeah, right. but still, I mean, at the end of the day, you need some outside. This team could use some outside shooting.
So shout out to CS Hoops, and so shout out to Danny Landis. Is in the building.
What's good?
Hey, so it was good. It was good. Hey, so Ty Walker just jumped in, and I'm assuming Ty Walker is a Warriors fan.
This guy ghetto.
Diehard Warriors fan.
Let me mute myself.
Yeah. So
diehard.
I'm a diehard Warriors fan since we won championships 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm ready to go like the Lakers now.
Yeah.
And I need him to hold that L. He got to hold that L.
Hey, so Ty Walker, what's good? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Right, I can hear you.
Okay. So you bringing anything to the table, or you came in to troll?
I got some stuff to the table that we can beat you the next time we face you.
So he's trolling.
Yeah. Well. Listen. That's a very good point. I mean, we can't project, but you know what though? In about a week and a half, y'all have us in the Garden, so we'll see.
Did you see he changed his name?
Yeah, I see it. I caught the name first, but I'm not gonna say what the name of it is now because I think that's a troll. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is we're open to having just about anybody on.
Crazy.
So hey, what's good, man? What's good? So yeah, man. So Rafi, the thing I want to talk.
What player would you trade for? I mean, would you use the salary cap for? Because we got 15 mil on cap, and this team is reviewing to make a trade with. Yeah, the team is reviewing 20 games. So I mean, I haven't heard not once. The only person that gave me a solution was Ghetto Intellect. He said, "I'll get a Steve Novak." You know what? I feel like
I've given multiple ones.
One name.
You got a Steve Novak as a free agent. You don't got to give up no assets. And he'd be a perfect
right now,
mentor like Kyle Korver. He ain't going to give you big minutes, but he's going to be a great mentor and like a shooting coach on the team.
And Grandmaster coach. And Grandmaster Vegan, I want a defensive playing Steve Novak. Is that fair?
Okay, go sign Bogdanovich.
Hold on. What player right now would you trade for? Like right now, going into the trade deadline, is my question.
What would I trade for? That's a
I'm not just
gonna throw stuff at the wall and hope it sticks.
Yeah, hey, you keep asking, and then you cut me off.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry, Freezy, because I'm talking to Zach, and then I get back to you. I'm sorry.
But if you're still asking questions, you can't be cutting people
the
off.
Same one. I'm asking, I'm sorry, man. Let me mic myself right here.
All right. So the first question I think was, do we need to improve the roster? Is what I thought I heard. And then secondly, I thought I heard, and if we do need to improve the roster, what player do we go after? Yeah, am I on with that, or did I miss something? Okay, all right. So my first thing is this: all teams need to improve their rosters. They should all look to make improvements where they can. we all need to make roster things where we can. But secondly, you don't want to disrupt the chemistry of your team by just making a move to make a move. You know what I mean? We don't want to do that, right? So if the Knicks, so shout out to Legion of Knicks podcast too, by the way, y'all. Sin Mears was good.
Did he
Foxy
answer
was
you?
good. Elton Lee, but listen. So here's my thing, right? The only player that I'm interested in going after, the only player that I'm looking to acquire is Bradley Beal. If I can't get Bradley Beal, I'm leaving everything else alone, right? I'm leaving everything. I'm leaving everything else alone. I don't care about Zach LaVine. I don't care about other. I don't care about Malik Beasley. And this is just my opinion. Now, I'm not saying it's right. Overall, I'm not saying it's the fix. What I'm saying is, in Uncle Freezy's mind, Bradley Beal is the only solution, and that might not be accurate, but that's just what I feel like after seeing Elfrid Payton not knock down that three against Portland. I feel like that ball rotated around to Bradley Beal, we win that game, right? So, but here's the thing: what we don't notice is this. So we knocked off the Indianas. We knocked off the Bucks, right? We knocked off the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? We knocked off this Knicks team, as currently constructed, knocked off Boston, and Boston was on a 5-game winning streak.
What, 30?
Right. So so the thing is this: I don't believe the roster is as bad as what it seems. Now, the issue we do have is style of play and maybe roles. Like some guys are in certain roles and they maybe shouldn't be. Should Elfrid Payton be the starting point guard? Right?
I'm not going to say why because we can't mention it anymore.
Oh man, if somebody,
I was just saying.
We just can't have 2.5 hours of Elfrid Payton can't shoot. We can't have two. We can't have two because the Knicks at Night podcast gets hijacked by a certain individual talking about Kevin Knox needs more minutes.
But we got
to go ahead.
We got to go one further though. We can't have Elfrid Payton on this team. We need to upgrade from him, period. Because if you don't start him, he's still getting the minutes. So your results won't change. I don't think if you start one over the other, you still got to bring Elfrid Payton in. He's still better than the other guards on this team. He will still get minutes.
Right.
The thing though is he's always been he's been a journeyman, but as a backup, where it's not asked of him to, carry the point guard duties every night, he's been okay. He hasn't been great, but he's been okay with other teams.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying long-term backup, but
if he comes in the game, he's starting the game. So they're going in the zone, saying, okay, we're going to pack in on Randall. If he comes in the game, what makes the other team not go zone and pack in on the other player?
No, you're right. I just meant like next year, the year after, we get a good team of shooting that we can't play the zone anymore. He's not a terrible backup point guard.
If he gets great shooters, if you put great shooters around him.
Like
But if you put great shooters around him now, then he's not a bad starting point guard. And quick off the bench and quick off. If you're going to upgrade Elfrid Payton, it's because you're going to put shooters around him, and then you got to cheat out on the shooters. I'm telling you now, Elfrid Payton is one of the greatest guards in the league right now, penetrating because he's so damn strong. He has an NBA-rated body. He has an NBA-rated handle.
I'm with you, Ghetto.
If you spread the floor, you cannot stop Elfrid Payton from getting to the rack.
I got two things for you.
Will Baggs was good.
I got two things for you. Number one, a type of player, and he's definitely secured his future on his team, but a type of player I like is a Malcolm Brogdon type. I really like Malcolm Brogdon. What he brings
was good.
Just his IQ, how he's just a well-rounded player, and he can do pretty much anything you ask him to do.
Right.
Got like Drew Holiday. He's another guy that was just traded for. But guys like that, I need on my New York Knicks team. And my second thing is a question for you, just kind of play devil's advocate with the style of play. I think the style of play has helped us stay in games and win games as presently constructed. It's not. I don't think the style might not be the prettiest, but we're gonna bust teams in the mouth. We're gonna punch them in the mouth to see how they react.
Well, look at Sacramento. They have the fastest pace in the NBA and the worst defense. So and we have the slowest pace and one of the best defenses. So the data is there. Oh, I didn't say data. I didn't use Fizdale term, did I?
Oh,
I wish I had I wish I had a gong. So every time we hear David Fizdale's name, we could hit the gong. Boom.
I just want to. Malcolm Brogdon was a good. That's a good piece. I don't know what it'll take to get him, but
that's the thing. I don't think they're letting him go.
Right.
I just mean that kind of player, though.
But that's
fine, Malcolm Brogdon.
That's better to hear than be talking about problems for 2 or 3 hours. Like we got to start coming up like the Knicks should look to trade.
We could talk about problems for 20 years.
Right. But sometimes we have to, but sometimes we got to also hear like we got to make a trade. I mean, I think in the trade. So I agree with Ghetto Intellect about the Alfred Payton.
But listen, Raphael, listen. So here's the thing, because I'm not gonna beef with you because your opinion is your opinion, right?
Right.
I ain't gonna beef with you on that.
No,
I will beef with you on this though.
Go ahead.
Your asking price. What are you willing to give up from this team in order to get those pieces that you desire?
And we have to. I feel like not just me, but I feel like it's the team is making an evaluation within 20 games, right? It's making an evaluation because obviously it's looking to make a trade, and that's something that I think I'm ready. I feel like
I love you, God, but you got to answer the question. You got to answer the question.
I'll be willing to trade a draft pick. Because I wanted Chris Paul last in the offseason.
Oh my God!
So so if there's a cheaper price.
What draft pick? No. What draft pick?
For a 36-year-old making $41 million.
Listen, man, it depends what player we're talking about. Well, who are we talking about?
Sorry,
no. You don't shop. You don't shop. Based on that. When you shop, you have a budget that you have to go by. You know what I'm saying? What's your budget?
Make an offer. You got to make an offer.
Hold on. I'm willing to use a draft pick, not necessarily. I don't care which pick it is. I don't care if it's 2021. I'm not so sold on it like that.
But God, most of the logic, that's like saying, I will pay for this with $1 bill, but it depends on if it's a 5, 10, 20, 50, or 100. Nah, dog, you got to come. What are you willing to put on the table for that? Like, what's your budget to shop with? That's what I'm asking you.
I'll be trade players and draft picks. I mean, which player?
Bro,
you want to tell me?
You said Chris Paul, 37-year-old,
no,
$41 million contract.
But I'm talking about going to this trade deadline now, right? This deadline. I don't want a Chris Paul no more. Now I want something like a Bogdan, a shooter.
What are you giving up for a shooter that plays?
I'll give up a 2021 pick. And the player, yes.
Get GI. He gonna have me the way you have.
All right. Well, I'll be willing to. It depends what shooter it is. I need a shooter.
And so I'll say. I think
we could acquire another draft pick. I think we have that. Okay.
I'll say it like this. So when I look to make a major purchase, like when I get ready to buy a car, right? The first thing I look at is am I going to finance this thing or am I going to pay cash? That's what I'm thinking first, right? And then secondly, if I'm looking to finance it, I'm looking at my monthly budget. Like, how much can I add to my monthly budget that I can pay for this thing comfortably? And then I find a range, right? So say the range is between $500 and $700 a month. I'm just saying, just whatever, just in general, between $500 and $700 a month. But that's all, and that's my total cost. That's the cost of the payment and how much my insurance will increase. You know what I'm saying? Based on the thing that I buy. That's what I can afford, right? So now I'm like, okay, now that I know between $500 and $700 is what I can add to my monthly budget, how much do I have in savings where I can put down a deposit? So if I need to do so, right? So I go through all these things, right? So I plan before I buy, and then I make the purchase based on these parameters. right? I don't go in blind. I don't go in and just say, "Hey, I need a car." You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question?
I don't do that. I don't do that. But let me say this. This is the reason why I was talking to Raphael about what he said. Because just saying that we need Malcolm Brogdon and not having a plan might mean you might have to gut the roster. You know what I'm saying? Drew Holiday, you might have to gut the roster and your assets. And now you have to think, well, I wanted to add a player to this roster. I didn't want to give up anything. I wanted this person to be complimentary. But in a situation where I have to give up pieces off the roster, it no longer becomes complimentary. It becomes a replacement.
That's why I said that they're not going nowhere.
Right. So
also,
that
Freezy, when you
that's
look
why.
for a car,
That's the reason why I was pressing Ralph a little bit about exactly what he wanted to get, because if it comes at the cost of an Obi Toppin, is it really worth it?
See, Freezy too, when you shop for cars, right? You don't look for just the best looking.
Right.
You look for what handles well, what's got some power, what's got the features. You don't just look for one thing and spend 8 Cadillac money on a Geo Metro.
On a Subaru.
On a Geo Metro with a cool motor in it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you got to actually see a well-rounded thing before you give money to it.
Well,
Bogdan, whatever the heck, is not a good all-around basketball player. He's good at one thing. He can't do anything else. Are you going to say, let's say we get to the finals and Bogdan, whatever the heck, has got to guard LeBron James? We just wasted $80 million.
Hey, D-Blocks just jumped in. Hey, Raphael, listen. I got a point. So D-Blocks just jumped in, right? And he may have the solution to your problem.
Oh no.
The Celtics have a point guard that we have coveted for a long time.
Don't do this to me.
Would you consider trading for Kemba Walker?
Oh.
Yes.
Don't do this to me. You're gonna make me sound like him.
Oh, like this is why I'm talking about, like, people want to talk about the problems, but when you want to transition to a solution, we will never cross that bridge.
It's not that you're crossing a bridge, Ralph. It's that they're not solutions. As much as I love Kemba Walker, is he leading you to a championship or not? Is he? Is he or is he not?
Is the draft pick, here's my question. Is the draft pick going to send us to the championship?
It could, but I know dang well Kemba Walker ain't. At least there's a possibility that
I'm complimenting my pieces. I got a compliment around RJ, Julius, and this situation right now. I can't be talking about 2025, 2040. I got to talk.
No one's asking about that, but you think our nucleus with Kemba Walker is winning a championship? If you do, you don't watch the game.
I would consider it. I think it'll be unwise
okay.
not to.
I think it's
unwise. Okay, then of course not, because you just want to save the. If you could save the Knicks $40 million, you would. You $50 million, $60 million. If you could gut out the roster and save money,
you're making 0 cents, bro.
No, it's
I don't think his argument. I don't think his argument is the cap. His argument is the draft picks, Ralph, not the cap.
The thing is.
I'll spend any money if we have a player that's going to win us a championship.
Exactly.
But Kemba Walker ain't it. As much as I love him, he ain't it.
The point is, we are in a position where we need to compete. Everybody's competing is building, complementing their roster, and pushing them to compete. Again, I've been saying this again. The Spurs have LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan. It doesn't look like they've been tanking or rebuilding, but because they have pieces that compete hard enough and good enough that they're also winning games, and they're also developing their players. And that's how I believe other teams are doing it as well. But I don't want to talk about other teams. But long story short, you need at least 1 or 2 pieces. And Julius Randle definitely, how many times have we not been saying Julius Randle needs another piece? But when we talk about that other piece, everybody's like, oh my God, you'd be crazy to trade a 2021 pick. Oh my God, you'd be crazy to trade a future draft pick.
No.
You have
not everyone. Everybody.
I would trade literally every pick on our roster for a guy that's going to win us a championship. I would spend way over the salary cap for that. But if you look at a guy, if you look at a guy like Kemba Walker or a guy like that, first of all, we're getting you say about the draft, who's going to lead you to a championship? The Warriors built a dynasty through the draft. And then they added KD.
I got a question.
I'm not done. and then they added KD, and then you could build teams through the draft. You don't have to just go out. No one makes blockbuster trades for stupid. Yeah, the Lakers, they're an anomaly. But guys, the thinking that you're showing is why Knicks GMs get fired. And why James Dolan is not part of basketball operations anymore. You just want the next star that'll sell jerseys and tickets.
I'm
Kemba
ready.
Walker's not winning a championship.
When you're ready, I'm ready to respond to that. When you're ready.
Okay, talk. You know what? Talk over me all you want. Go ahead. Make less sense. Go ahead. You don't gotta keep talking over me, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go tell us why Kemba Walker won us a title.
Why is it, right? Why is it that the Knicks get this stigma, right? That when we want to make a trade for a player, right? Oh, the Knicks are stupid, right? Because the media likes to humiliate us or whatever. I don't care what the reason. Long story short, right?
Wait. You just asked us a question. So do you want to say, Ralph?
Yeah, the Knicks
asked
aren't
us a question.
stupid.
Okay.
The Knicks aren't stupid because they're not asking to trade for someone like that to win a championship.
Is the question rhetorical? If it's rhetorical,
it was a rhetorical one. It was a rhetorical one. I'm gonna make it back real quick.
Okay.
Boston Celtics has been rebuilding too. Am I right or wrong? Boston Celtics, right? Have they been rebuilding or no?
They actually did the draft.
They drafted through the draft, and they also traded for Kyrie Irving, right?
How'd that work?
Am I wrong?
How'd that work?
Does it matter?
How'd that work?
They're competing, right? Are they competing?
They compete with or without him.
So you mean to tell me you're smarter than Danny Ainge today?
You think you're smarter than
No. Are you smarter than Danny Ainge?
He'll admit that was a mistake. That was a mistake to trade for Kyrie Irving. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals without him. Took LeBron to Game 7 without him. He was a cancer. They just went for the next. But that's what they do.
And then he went for Kemba Walker right after.
How'd that work?
It's working out fine because they are competing for playoffs. They are building Jaylen Brown and their young core, and they're competing. See, the problem is competing. But you don't want to compete. You don't want to trade for Kemba Walker. You don't want to trade another piece to push the team to go to the playoffs. You're like, you're saying, hold up. My whole thing is, you're saying if we trade for a piece, it's gonna set us back in the future. You got to focus on today with the pieces. Is what I'm saying.
Just keep smiling, Zach. Did you have a cigarette? Just keep smiling.
Yeah, it makes no sense. So I'm just letting him rock. He sound like Trump right now with his argument.
No. You have to push. If you believe in RJ Barrett,
saying I don't want to win games.
If you believe in RJ Barrett, now if you want to tank the season, okay, cool. But if you want RJ Barrett to go to the playoffs like they did with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, then that's what the people try to do. All right, cool. So then you guys, okay, cool. So let's just keep tanking.
Make zero sense.
No.
Freezy, check my resume. Have I ever said about tanking?
No, we don't. This is an anti-taking show.
Okay.
So Raphael, what I'm trying to ask is, because you asked some of those questions were rhetorical and I got it in a moment, but others were actually legit questions and I wanted to answer. Right. So here's my question to you based on the questions that you posed. Do you feel like we are one piece away?
Yeah, to go to the playoffs? Where do you want to go to?
So my mindset on every day I wake up and I feel like the Knicks should be in the same thing, is to win it all. They should be moving in that direction, even if they can't do it.
So you're saying we shouldn't spend $40+ million on players that aren't going to win championships, Freezy?
No, what I'm saying is
going to win championships.
Look at G.I. G.I. got the trophy in front of him.
Oh, wow.
Winning.
So that's my whole. Like, what is this whole thing about? Yo, man, if we're not spending $35 billion on Chris Paul and he doesn't win us a championship, that's considered a bust. Like, where did you guys come up with that?
No, that's
a real question. That's a real question.
So are you really interested in where we came up with that from, or do you want to know why we think that, or do you want to know why we think that way?
Why? Yeah, I want to know why you guys think that way. Everything like what?
So the thing is this. I'm not saying that one move or even two moves or even three moves wins us a championship. What I'm saying is we should be in that winning mindset, is what I'm saying. So when you hear information from me, just remember to separate the two. Like
Right.
I'm not telling you that the Knicks should go all in on 3 moves or not do a single move. What I'm telling you is when you separate my thought from that logic that you just put out there, I say the direction of the team should be try to win a championship every year, right? And it's not going to happen every year. But look, teams like franchises like the Miami Heat are in that mindset every day of every year during every season. They want to win it all. The
You
Lakers.
know the difference, though?
What's that?
Our fans, like the guy to my left, remind me of the guys on Knicks Click, who used to post every other day. You'd see, we should trade for Greg Monroe. We should trade for Andre Drummond. We should trade for X, Y, and Z because they have a good year or because they look good when you watch them. But they want a player. They just want to trade for the next guy. It's not about winning a championship. It's about trying to get to an 8th seed with an overpaid player, or like a Blake Griffin. We used to always want guys like that. Like, it makes no sense. They're not winning you championships. We need to wait for the guy that's good, whether it's through a draft, free agency trade, no matter what it is. We need to find and make moves, make power moves that win championships.
By the way, I used to argue with them.
Not to get us in basketball purgatory.
I used to argue with them guys in Knicks. I used to argue with them guys in Knicks Click, and they kicked me out the group.
You know who I'm talking about, G.I. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Every day it was a new trade for a bum or a guy that's not going to win a championship. Like, and if you didn't agree, you just want to save a million picks and don't want to do anything, and you want to tank.
Right. So my thing is my thoughts on it is this, and I know I say this a lot. Right. I want to win more than anybody. I'm desperate. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? But I also feel like proper roster construction should be the priority. Right. So I don't want to trade for 2 more point guards, and then we'll have 3 point guards trying to figure out who the guy is and moving a guy, playing weird, funky roles. Let's try this 3 point guard rotate. I don't want to do that. What I would like to do is anybody, if anybody plays chess, they'll know what I'm getting at. What I would like to do is push my pawns, right? Push my pawns until my opponent can stop it, right? Meanwhile, I'm opening up angles I hope my opponent doesn't see, right? I'm opening up angles that I hope my opponent does not see, so that I can make a complicated move to put pressure on the other team's king, right? That's what I'd like to do. And I know that sounds like all complicated. People that don't play chess, they like, oh, that's a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo stuff. What I'm saying is I think acquiring a guy like Bradley Beal is that complicated move. I think playing RJ and Quickly and Mitch is pushing pawns forward, right? Push so good because you don't know what power they have until you don't, right? So let's see what RJ can do. Let's see what Quickly can do. Let's see what Mitch can do. But acquiring a Bradley Beal to go with the Julius Randle, you already know what Julius Randle can do. You've seen it in 2 years. You know Julius Randle is a double-digit rebounder, a 20-point-per-game scorer, and this year, thanks to Raphael, the AKA believer of the God of Moses and Elijah, he has opened up our eyes to the fact that Julius Randle is an excellent passer. Raphael did that. He did that before the season started, and it turned out to be absolutely accurate, 100% accurate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like adding a complementary piece to Randle, not RJ, not Mitch, not Quickly, because we don't know what their ceiling is yet, because they haven't hit it, right? You don't know what type player RJ is yet, because he's still growing. So you can't depend on his growth. What you want to do is to continue to have him develop, continue to have Quickly develop, continue to have Mitch develop, and then you have other pieces like Knox. At this point, Knox is a bust.
Yep. And also with guys like Kemba and Freezy, for Ralph, I love Kemba Walker. But with the Boston Celtics, they have bona fide studs, superstars in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They have guys that can win you a championship.
Right.
Like they went to the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie Irving and took LeBron to 7 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Like, so they have a roster where they're a one piece away. And I'd love to be a roster that's one piece away that can go get a Kemba Walker, that can go get a guy like that. But the fact of the matter is we are not one piece away.
So let me say this real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off, right? I'm sorry to cut you off, and I promise I'll let you continue. Not let you, but you know what I'm saying? I'll get out of it.
You're good, bro.
But so the Prince Bun is in the chat, and I think I just set him off by calling Kevin Knox a bust.
Well, the truth hurts, bro. Sorry. I mean, Kevin, not everybody make excuses for that kid. Like, stop. He's a bust. That's what he is. Like, hold
on, don't switch the topic because let's make sure Ralph get this thing off.
I just want to say though that I'm not completely sold on quote unquote Bogdan Bogdanovic. It's just that kind of player.
Right.
You know, I need a shooter, a great shooter, somebody that can help. I'm looking.
Talk about another boss lover.
I'm looking for a complementary piece for this team, and I'm looking to win. I'm looking to win. I want the Knicks to win. I'm not tanking. I'm not tanking. I know what I want. What I want RJ Barrett to go to the playoffs this year. So do I. Same with Mitch. Same with Julius Randle. Now, some of you guys might be reserved, or maybe you guys are unsure about whether we should go to the playoffs. Is it worth going to the playoffs? That's fair. Look, everybody has their take. My take is whatever. It's important, you know. It stifles. It could possibly stifles Mitch's growth, RJ's growth. You can't have the reason Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are so great, as well as Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are so great, is in my eyes is because as soon as they drafted them, the teams pushed them to go to the playoffs.
Right. You're right.
As soon as the 76ers got Ben Simmons, 2016, he didn't play 2016. 2017 or 2018 playoffs. We're gonna push you to the playoffs. As soon as they finished the tank, it was in one or two seasons. They deaded that tank immediately.
But Ralph,
hold on. Can I say one thing real quick?
Okay, I want it back.
I promise you, I'm not changing the topic. I'm not even talking basketball.
Okay, don't change it. Go ahead.
Just give me this opportunity to salute Evergreen G for your service to our country, my guy.
Bro.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But Ralph, what you're saying with Boston, 100% true, right? Just I want you to think about something quick. Well, like when you say Boston, where you pushed them to the playoffs, they had Isaiah Thomas on a cheap contract. They had they didn't go out and force no trade to get those guys in the playoffs. It happened organically.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
And I want to respond to that. What is your answer to the 76ers, who was the first to be tanking, and as soon as they got the cornerstones, because according to Leon Rose, we got a cornerstone pieces.
That's my name.
According to Leon Rose, we already got a cornerstone pieces, which is RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson. So, and on top of that, they drafted Obi, Emmanuel Quickly, and we got Julius Randle. So as soon as you get your cornerstone pieces, what are you waiting for now?
They're nothing. They're building a culture.
So my whole thing is the 76ers quickly made a trade for Tobias Harris, and they traded. Yes, they did. Which fine, you don't like his contract.
It was horrible.
Fine. You think his contract is horrible.
That gets GMs fired.
Fine, look.
Moses, real quick. Hold on, just 1 second, Moses. I know you want to get that out. I just don't think he. Oh damn!
Kev.
I know. I don't think he works out for Philly.
No, it doesn't.
The guy that you just named. I don't think he works out.
Tobias Harris.
Tobias, yeah, Tobias. I don't know if
things-
Tobias Harris really works for Philly. But keep going.
And Ralph, I never wanted to tank, but when you think about it, you can't rush things. Philly was the exact thing why you can't. They tanked at so long that they had no culture in place. And then how long has it taken them to actually show Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid how to win games and compete when it matters?
Right.
But Boston, they didn't tank. They didn't. They had a good trade where they got rid of Garnett and Pierce. They got guys like Tatum and Brown in the building. They didn't tank. They won. They set a culture. They got Brad Stevens in and set a culture. That's what we're doing right now with Tom Thibodeau. We got a coach in here for all these young guys to teach them how to work, to teach them how to be pros, to put a culture in place. It's 18 games into the season where we are finally competent.
Right.
And we don't want to blow it up yet.
Hey, I came on here to get smoke about Kevin Knox being a bust. That's what I came on here for, bro.
Oh, hey,
I want to know how.
Do you guys?
That wasn't me.
Right. That's what I want to know. You just brought up. Hold on, Zach. You just brought up Ben Simmons, bro. Dude who still can't shoot a layup, and you talking about Kevin Knox being a bust, bro?
But would you trade?
That was freeze. That was up.
Yeah, would you trade? The Prince Bun? Would you trade Kevin Knox for Ben Simmons? Would you trade Kevin Knox?
No,
for Ben Simmons?
No, because now we got even worse shooting. No.
Hey, China just called back. China just called back. They wanted 2 first-round picks to take Kevin Knox to China.
That's hilarious, Zach, but it ain't funny, bro. Because again, you talking about a guy who has in Tom Thibodeau's offense, he's the 7th guy in our rotation. What are you talking about, bro? You sound hilarious. Like that ain't even. It's not even a joke. Now again, DSJ, I could say he's a bust. Right. Kevin Knox is far from a bust, bro. Like, stop with that narrative. Y'all love coming on here to crack jokes. It's funny.
Prince. But Prince. So okay, all right. So to defend Kevin Knox, can you tell us what Kevin Knox's 2 definitive skills are?
As of right now, shooting the 3 and playing defense.
Okay. All right. So he shoots the 3, but he averages 6 points a game.
He averages what? 14, 15, 16 minutes a game.
No. He averages 20 minutes a game. 20 minutes a game.
Who he locking
Okay,
up
all right. So Freezy, how many other guys who are averaging 20 minutes? We just played against Jordan Clarkson. He averages 12 points a game. We just played against who else came off the bench?
17 points a game.
Who? Zach Clarkson?
Jordan Clarkson. Yeah, look it up.
Jordan Clarkson.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I would like to see that. I want to see those 17
Somebody
points.
prove him wrong. I'm on my phone. I can't look it up.
Hey, look,
I'm pretty sure they know 17 points. He would be starting if he was averaging 17.
He's been running for 6th man of the year, 17 points a game.
Yo, let Evergreen G get in, please, guys.
Yeah, get some money, Evergreen.
Let me get after Freezy real quick, because I think the problem with these arguments comes into play is no one is actually defining what a bust actually is. So
thank you, Evergreen.
You have a bunch of people that are arguing back and forth in a big giant circle about would you trade this player or what is this guy's 2 best stats or whatever the case is. And obviously everyone has a difference in opinion on what a bust is. So I'm going to explain my definition of a bust, and I want to see if anybody else agrees with this, and then we will see if this idea applies to Kevin Knox. Is that fair?
Hey, Evergreen, you got your radio on in the background?
No, I got my headphones on. Look, I just put my headphones on.
Somebody's had something playing in the background. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, I just want you to be clear. That's all.
All right. So here's what I think a bust is, right? The average NBA player that gets drafted and plays a year in the league, the average every NBA player's career time in the league is about 5 years, which generally is a full contract and an extension if they see value in that player, right? So, in my opinion, a bust is a guy that plays his first full contract and does not get re-signed by any team and ends up going over to China or going over to the G League. That's how I look at a bust. Would anybody else agree with that?
Let me ask you a question to counter that.
No.
Derek Williams, was he not a bust? Because he signed after his rookie contract.
I don't believe so. If he signed, he fits my criteria.
No, he's supposed to be a special guy, and you're not. You're not even a bench player at best. He is a bust.
What do you mean a special? See, but that's what I'm saying. That's the problem that we're having with this argument.
Use the average lifespan that includes undrafted free agents. That includes guys that weren't lottery picks in that average 5 years. 10-day contract guys. That doesn't include. Look at the average lifespan of a lottery pick. Then, just that's where his ceiling. That was his draft position. A lottery pick.
I'm not.
If he's an undrafted free agent. He ain't no bust.
So
his expectations are here. He's way down. Way down. You can't even see my hand.
Listen, So
thank you, Legion.
What do you say? Derek Williams was a bust. Listen, everyone has their own opinion.
No, it's fact and fiction.
Everyone has their own opinion on the criteria. Period.
Opinions are like what holes?
Assholes. I get it. That's my point. That's my point. Is that everyone has their own opinion, and it's all meaningless. To say that Kevin Knox right now is a bust, and he's still playing basketball at least, is preposterous. I don't even think you can make that argument until someone is not even playing anymore. Is Derek Williams
Kwame Brown wasn't a bust?
Is Derek Williams playing in the league right now?
Yeah,
Kwame Brown had a 10-year career. Was he a bust?
Kwame Brown didn't have a work ethic either.
But Kwame Brown played 12 years in the NBA.
But was he or was he not a bust?
No, he wasn't a bust. He played 12 years.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was a scrub. He was a scrub.
He was.
I think this is probably the only time that I ever disagree with you.
Listen, what I'm saying is, in my opinion, a bust means, I don't see any value in this guy at all.
Anthony Bennett is a bust.
So
he got multiple. So
if someone says, you know what, I'm willing to take a chance on Kwame Brown.
No.
And hold on, listen. And then
Legion again.
Listen,
ding, ding, ding.
So listen. So if someone says, I'm willing to take a chance on Kwame Brown and draft him, and then he plays out his contract. He gets traded in the middle of his contract, right? And in the middle of his contract, another person says, you know what? Hold on. Listen.
Okay.
In the middle of his contract, another person says, you know what? I'll trade him and I'll extend him. And then he does it again and he says, I'll trade him and I'll extend him. And he takes his career and goes to 12 years?
Evergreen.
Clearly there's value.
Here's Kwame Brown. He was the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. All right.
Got it. Yep. I understand.
Okay. And a lot of other players, work on their craft and do whatever. He comes in with no jump shot. He comes in with no footwork. He comes in without the ability to defend or do whatever. And it was a decade later that he was still that same guy.
Got it. I get you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm simply saying that if he was a bust, someone would have said, or everyone collectively in the league would have said, I don't want nothing to do with this guy.
But let's not make it about any one player, guys. Let's
generalize criteria.
No, time out, the Prince. Time out. Let's just make it about what a bust is. Let's just clear up what a bust.
Thank you. Let's clear that up.
Let's cut. Based upon where you were drafted. That's where the bust comes from.
Thank you.
It's based upon where you were drafted. And what the intent, because the team goes out and say, I drafted this guy because, and we're projecting him to be this because. And all of the analysts and all of the fans, they have expectations based upon where you're drafted. A guy who goes undrafted, you generally never hear him called a bust. A bust is driven by your draft position and the stock capital your team puts into you. That's what it's always been to me. Right. And based upon that is why we're calling Kevin Knox a bust, because he was the first draft.
Hold on. So
that's all I'm saying.
With with that same argument, you could call RJ Knox a bust too. Wasn't he the third pick? RJ Knox was the third. I mean, RJ Barrett was the third pick. Like now y'all got me hot. Y'all got me hot because y'all calling this kid a bust.
Is he averaging 6 points
Evergreen
a
just
game?
clearly put it. Hold on. Evergreen just clearly put it exactly what a bust is, bro. The kid is in his third year as a player, and he's still on a contract, and he's still playing. And y'all over here.
You want to give him a participation trophy?
Hey, was Michael Alarcon a bust?
Yes. Well, I would say. So let me do this.
Because
if y'all can give me like.
All I wanted to say was RJ. If that was the case, is RJ playing like a number 3 pick?
Right now, yeah.
Yes.
Cornerstone. Cornerstone. You are flagpole. Oh. Cornerstone. You are flagpole.
Literally trying to come at RJ to defend the dude with the forehead the size of Texas with no
it was literally a week ago. You was just talking about how bad RJ Barrett was playing. Now you're talking about he's the third best.
He was
Prince, if I may.
Prince,
if I may.
Oh boy, man, I love you to death, man. I love
Prince,
you.
if I may. Why is it the Kevin Knox fans because let's say he's not a bust, but he's not meeting our expectations, right? Why is it that the Knox fans always point to another draft pick on the team to defend?
Because again, you using the same narrative to try to say that because he was the 8th pick, because he was the 8th pick, that he's not a good player and he's not meeting our expectations. Because the same stuff that's been going on for the last 4 years has been going on. The kid that had 3 coaches in 4 years, now he's playing good basketball.
He's doing the same thing he did last year. 6 points.
And that's what the one thing about Frank is the difference, Kevin Stone, flagpole, the difference with RJ, the difference with Knox, the difference with Knox and Frank is always hurt. Knox ain't been hurt. The only difference is Knox hasn't learned his position and hasn't learned how to play with the team yet. Now he has a role. He's playing good basketball.
He hasn't learned how to play on the wing.
So here's the thing. I asked the Prince, what were Knox's 2 distinct skills that he brings to the table, right?
RJ's a bust.
So the Prince legit said, and so for real, and so I know the Prince bun is a Knoxer, but regardless of that, that's
right. He coming after Kevin
and regardless of the Prince bun being a Knoxer or not, he's still my guy. That's still my man.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to this Knox thing, Kevin Knox is a bust. You know why? And here's why. For one,
the Prince, roll up, man. I need you to roll up ASAP, though.
And so for one, it's not just about statistics. You also measure Kevin Knox against his peers, the guys he was drafted with, in that same range. Right? So Michael Carter.
I just watched RJ get cooked 7 games in a row. I just watched RJ get cooked 7 games in a row, and because he bully balled and shot 30 shots and scored 20 points, now RJ in the bus, man. Hey, it's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, but the
40%
but
free throw line.
Wait. So here's the thing.
He played last year. Everybody says how different he is compared to last year. He was better last year. He had more rebounds and more assists.
Right.
Still 6 points. He's a bum.
Here's the
no,
thing.
He's playing in the system, Zach. He's playing in the system.
Nah, man.
Like Evergreen just said.
Yo, y'all gonna let me get my point in? I mean, I'm just
Get your point in.
Go
ahead, Freezy.
So the thing is, we want to measure Kevin Knox against his peers, right? So he came out in a draft class that featured Luka Doncic and Trae Young, right? So we don't want to compare him to them, right? We're not going to compare him to them. What about the guys after Knox, though? Did we get the guys that drafted after Knox? Are they balling?
Bridges.
What about Kyle Kuzma? Is Kyle Kuzma better than Knox?
Yes.
Is Michael Porter Jr. better
Kyle
than
Kuzma
Knox?
is a year before him. It's a year before him.
Okay. Kyle Kuzma.
What about
that
Michael? What about
Is a
Michael?
bag of wet dog food better than Kevin Knox?
What about Michael Bridges that's playing for Phoenix?
Yeah, but what about
It was
what
the whole
about?
thing.
So the thing is I'm not looking to bash Knicks fans. I'm not bashing y'all. This is not. I'm not trying to bash y'all, and I'm not trying to troll y'all. What I'm saying is, if Kevin Knox's two definitive skills are shooting and defense, then Knox is a bust because he's not 3-and-D.
Yeah, who is he locked down?
So I agree that his skill set is shooting, but I am nowhere near ready to say that his skill set is defense. I don't know what you're talking about with that, Prince. Now,
I said he's playing defense. If you ask me what is he doing? What is he doing? That's what Freezy asked. Freezy didn't say what is he doing at an elite level. He didn't say what is he doing at an elite level. He said what is he doing? I said he's playing defense and he's shooting a three.
Skills. I asked what are his two definitive skills, and you said shooting and defense.
That's exactly what you said. That's exactly what you said.
That is what I said. Definitive skills. That has nothing to do with him being supreme in those positions. You said what is he doing right now?
Definitive skill, he should be able to hold his hat on it. Should be able to hang his hat on it. He can't. Who is he locked up? Nobody, not one. At least Frank
that wasn't the question. That ain't what I said. I never said. I never said Knox was an elite defender.
Goalpost, bro.
That is not what I said. That is not what I said.
All right, listen. This is. I want to add this basic concept, right? If you blow up a balloon, right? If I blow up a balloon, a party balloon, whatever, and Freezy comes over and sticks a needle in that balloon and pops it, and that balloon busts, can I now take that same balloon, piece it back together, and blow it up again?
No, you cannot.
No, you cannot. So what I'm saying is a bust means that everyone looks at the value and says, I can't do nothing with it that it was intended to do.
Everybody does that except the Knoxers.
If that same concept is applied to basketball, then that would automatically imply that Kwame Brown wasn't a bust, regardless of how good you think he was, and regardless of how good or bad his stats were. If he had a career of 12 years in basketball, and other organizations within the NBA decided, I am going to add this guy to my roster.
I didn't know we had Kawhi.
Evergreen, you made your point. Evergreen, you made your point because you used the specific analogy of the balloon. And if I pick that balloon, and first of all, I don't buy the balloon concept. I'm standing strong on my square.
Copy.
I bust if Kwame Brown was drafted 27 in the league, no one would be calling him a bust.
Right.
We wouldn't even be talking about him because our expectations would be zero. The bust applies to the expectation, not only your team, but where you're drafted at. Brad Doherty was drafted before Michael Jordan in the era where you had to have a big man. If you didn't have a big man, you didn't go anywhere in the NBA. So they looked at Michael Jordan and said, he could be, but this 7-footer, we better get him.
The wave. The 7-footer is for the wave.
He stayed in the NBA until his knees couldn't play any longer.
Right.
He's a bust.
But also, guys, I'll use a different analogy like Evergreen did. He used the balloon. Y'all know I like my cars and I race. So let's say I got a rivalry with my buddy, right? He got the high dollars. He got everything. He got the fastest car, and we're rivals. And I go out this winter and I say, yo, I'm putting 25 grand into my motor, and I'm getting the best transmission money can buy, and the best rear end, the best suspension. I don't care. I'm spending all the money. I'm putting all the expectations on myself. I'm doing everything I can, and I am talking all the trash in the world about this car, and it goes out, and it still runs for 5 years, but it lays an egg and can't beat nobody. It's a bust. My expectations were high. I did everything I thought was right, and it busted. It's a bust. It might still run for 5 years, 10 years. It might still be reliable as far as it can get me to the grocery store, but it ain't doing what I paid for it to do. it's a bust.
Right.
You pay Kwame Brown not to get 4-2, or Kevin Knox not to get 6-1. You pay for them to be all-stars, and they weren't.
Now, got it. Now, my purpose in doing that is because you already see the lack of logic in even arguing about what a bust is. That's why I did that. And here's my reason. Everyone in this room has a different opinion about what a bust is. Everyone.
Nah, just you and Prince Bun.
Sure. Well, I don't. Sure, whatever. There's still two. It's not exact.
That's because people can be
Me
wrong.
and Zach said the same thing. Me and Zach said the same thing.
There's people that can be wrong.
You and Zach said the same thing, but it would be definitive. It would be universal.
There's still people that go against the world is round. Like, there's still going to be wrong. Like, what are you talking about? It could be scientific fact and people still think it's wrong.
So where's the science in what you're saying?
Science is universal.
Science is universal, is my point. You use
and people still disagree with some bull crap, bull mess theory like this balloon thing, and it's just wrong.
Science is universal. There's no refuting science. What you and I are talking about is a difference in opinion. That's it. We're talking about a difference in opinion. We're not talking about measurable in the now. We're not talking about that. We're talking about your opinion versus mine, which is why I don't even get into these unnecessary.
I can sit there and you can tell me the world is round, and every scientific book in the world can tell me that. Someone can take a picture of a round world, a 360, and show me it's round, and I can still say, well, it's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. Everybody has their opinion.
Just like the election was stolen.
Okay, hey, so here's one other thing. So I started the show. I'm gonna do something real quick, y'all. Just be patient with me. So when I started the show, remember how I started the show, everybody? Remember when I said you can introduce a topic, you can have an opinion on it, and then ask a question about it. And then even with that, the conversations can still go in any different in infinite ways. This is what just happened with the Kevin Knox is a bust, right? We go from Kevin Knox is a bust to the theory of what a bust is, right? So that's the reason why I brought that up, but to start the show, just to give you an example of how these things go. And I'm not saying whether these guys are right or wrong, right? Mostly I isolate the screen because I wanted to see the teddy bear on how with his hand on the shoulder over there. To me, that's still funny, right? But anyways, what I want to get at is just one quick thing. I just want to get my thought at. Kevin Knox is a bust because of the fact that we needed him to be something, and he didn't turn out to be that guy. And then we saw guys after him turn out to be much more. That's the reason why I say that.
Ding 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 ding.
That's the reason why I say that. Not to get anybody upset. Where Evergreen go?
They left.
He'll be back.
The Evergreen have left the train.
Evergreen will be back.
Evergreen had his uniform on. He might have had to work today.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I say that. I just want to ISO just for that, because I started the show with you introduce a topic, you state your opinion, you ask a question, and then the conversation takes off in a direction, and you can't control it. And that's one of the good things about this show.
You want to know why that is, though? Because people in today's and we're all guilty of it in some aspect at some point, where it's hard to admit you're wrong, right? And a lot of people, like when you hear like people that are just dead out flat wrong, will say, "Well, that's just my opinion." Right. Like, okay, but opinions, everybody got them. Don't mean it's right.
I see this in the chat. And if I was a Knoxer, this would be my argument. The Knicks picked up his contract already for next year. So Knox, for not trying to use a crystal ball and projecting, will be a Knick next year. That's what that said. We'll sign you to a contract. We're on the hook for paying you next year, so you will be on this team. My argument though would be, you got to give us time I still have faith in him. It's still a legit argument. The Knicks picked him up. If he was a bust, they would try to run out the league. I'm telling you, if he had one more year, I still would then come back and say, yeah, when we drafted Knox, we had no free agents. We couldn't bring in no free agents. We already had KP on this team. We needed a player to come be next to KP. Didn't we? I think we lost Melo in the same first year we got Knox. So Knox was a little bit set up. So I would argue that he was a little bit set up to fail. Brought into, and this is if I was a Knoxer, and I'm not.
Okay.
I'm my position is Knox as a bust, but this makes a better argument. Because if I had an opinion, I would try to pin it on something instead of arguing what's a bust or not. Come on, man. We've been all listening to every sport. They've talked about draft picks and being bust. So to try to change the narrative now to fit your guy makes no sense. Also to say, and I love you, the Prince. You know I love you to death. But to sit here and say you would not trade Ben Simmons for Kevin Knox, head up right now, that had to be one of the most ignorant arguments I've ever heard in my life.
It's all right. If my argument, like, obviously it works. Just if anybody calls Kevin Knox a bust, just say RJ Barrett's a bust.
Right.
Or say Kyle Lowry's 982 years old.
Oh, you missed it yesterday.
Hey, so he had a birthday this morning.
Oh, did he hit 3,000?
Yeah, I think he is.
So you missed it. You also missed it.
Dog years too.
Our homeboy Kevin W, who is a member of this team, love him to death. He starts going in and says Mitchell Robinson. Not only did Knox have no improvement, Mitchell Robinson had no improvement. So if you're going to ride Knox, you got to ride Mitchell Robinson. Even though every game we won, Mitchell Robinson has put his thing down.
Also, Mitchell Robinson is zero offensive threat, and he has more points a game than Kevin Knox. So,
and so Mitchell Robinson doesn't get wide open corner threes or wide open shots. Everything Mitchell Robinson gets is at the basket amongst the bigs. I mean, come on, Knoxers, step your game up.
The worst thing is deflecting. Like all the Knoxers just deflect. Like when you bring up a good point, I've heard things like, well, if he did it, he failed, but he still did it. Like, what?
Or you know what? Also,
it's called failing and not doing things.
If Kevin Knox had a better point guard, he could score more. At some point,
would that help him ISO?
That's not even true. That's not even true.
I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it was said.
But I got a question for you guys. Do you guys see Leon Rose using a draft pick in the trade deadline for a player? Oh, hell no.
Hell no.
I like Ralph. He gets back to it.
Yeah, I'm tired of that. I mean, that's a good conversation for some people. But I want to stay with the moment.
But Ralph, I think you have to set the table better. And Freezy was trying to. So let me try to come from a different angle. You want to make a trade. First of all, I tell my background story. I literally prayed to my Lord and Savior for LeBron James as much as I was praying to go to heaven after earth. I promise you, right after my prayers was, please deliver LeBron James. My Savior told me.
You make me cry.
I know it's that, Zach. It's that because
you make me cry, bro.
But Zach. my God spoke to me and said, I will help you, but I ain't in the sports. I don't do that.
Even God can't bring him to the net.
That's not my game. I don't do that. You got to leave that to your front office. So what happened to me in my 30s? I guess it was still my 30s. Yeah, it's still my 30s. So what happened to me in my 30s, God of Elijah, is I stopped wishing and expecting Superman to walk through the door. So I am with Zach 90% of the time. The only problem is
the other 10% he's wrong.
Well,
I'm just kidding, G.I.
There's not a name that Zach believes in. So when I'm saying
that's
okay,
true.
Well, all right, but no, I don't want to deflect because he's sneaky. He's trying to bait me into it. He wants to debate with me.
That's not true.
That's what it is. But Elijah, no. Zach's trying to.
Oh, okay.
That just
I'm
ain't
with
no.
you
You
on
trying
that.
to bait me, bro? That ain't true. I believe in players, bro.
No. Trading for players. We talk about trade.
So hold
I
on.
don't want to distract you.
Hold on. This is for
let him
you.
go.
This is for you. This is for you, God of Elijah. But I also then started being realistic.
Right.
When me and Freezy throw out Bradley Beal, it's because the Washington Wizards already went all in on a $41 million contract 3 years from now. Once they said Bradley Beal wouldn't work with Wall, that relationship was splintered years ago before Wall got hurt the second time.
Right.
We were debating whether that relationship was going to work. Then Wall goes out and Bradley Beal looks like one of the next world beaters in the NBA because he gets time to hold the ball in his hands, which the Knicks would give him, by the way, time to put the ball in his hands. So let me finish. So now they go out and trade for Westbrook to try to make it work, and it ain't working. So the reality that Bradley Beal can become available in me and Freezy's mind is real, especially if we put the right offer on the table. So for you, we're going to say, as I give it back to you, we're willing to have this conversation like we're willing to argue with Zach till the day is long that we will give up the world, move heaven and earth for Bradley Beal. What player do you see realistically becoming available in this year by this trade deadline that we should offer whatever for? That's how we're asking you to set the table so we can have a pretty intelligent conversation.
I'm going to work on that. I want to say something so that way you can respond. I'm a big believer, right? I just want to put this in context, right? I'm a big believer of continuing to draft. I don't want to give up all draft picks. So when you talk Bradley Beal, me personally, for my take, I'm a little hesitant. Why? Because I am pro trading draft picks. But I want to continue to draft just like everybody's talking about. I got you. Look. I got you. You guys love your Bradley Beal. Look.
I'm not talking. I'm talking to Zach, not to you, Zach. Now you're on his side.
No. That's okay. Look. Like if we get Bradley Beal, I ain't gonna be mad about it. I ain't gonna be mad about it if we get Bradley Beal, right? But like I said, I'm seeing competent teams continue to draft. And also, hey, listen, if the Boston Celtics, even though Kemba's Walker's, if they can get Kemba, hey, listen, I'm taking him. If you can still get a high-profile player, you gotta. Hey, listen, that's what I'm about.
Hey, Ralph, can you change your name to God and Believer of Zach's coach's desk, real quick, just for GI?
Cool. So that's my whole thing is, it doesn't have to be so. It doesn't. So I want to keep it more realistic. That's why I said Bogdanovic. Why? Because I don't have to give up that many. Whatever assets I have to give. Me. Cool.
And so
that's fine. It doesn't have to be him. It just happens to be the player in the moment.
So Raphael. So again, tell us what you're willing to pay, and tell us who you're willing to target.
Okay. So
and then that way we can eliminate all the conjecture, right? Because we have a lot of conjecture right now.
So I would say I'm looking for a B star, a C star, a third tier player. I mean, somebody that's not going to cost so expensive because I want to keep the draft picks. Not all of them, but I want to use them. And also, but if I can for example, at first conversation, CP3 was for the low. When we had conversation about Russell Westbrook, I don't care about the contract. I don't care about the contract. I'm tired of this contract conversation.
So what do you?
But no, for the record, for GI's record, I love Bradley Beal. I just didn't want to give the whole team for him. I'm a believer in Bradley Beal.
Right.
So don't do that. Don't do that, GI.
No, I'm
so let me do this. Hey, Lawrence Mayberry, what's happening? Hey, Evergreen G. Hey, G, come on, dog. You supposed to be a brother. You ain't even gonna offer none of the sandwich.
Listen, man, you can't get none of this, baby.
I know
that's your opinion. I think my opinion is you should bring me a sandwich.
Right.
Hey, G, I want you to look good on camera. I want you to look good on camera. Side of your mouth, homie.
Yeah.
I want you to look good on camera.
The other side, yeah.
Got some ketchup on your forehead a little bit.
So I think A+, like players like Bradley Beal, that's way out of reach, and that's a lot of playing time that I don't want to take away from Quickly, from R.J. Barrett. I don't want that smoke. I really don't.
Hold on. You don't. Is it that you don't want to take it, or you don't think Bradley Beal deserves to play more than R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly?
No. Look, Bradley Beal's a special player. Bro.
Okay, cool. I thought okay.
But if I'm looking at the roster, I want R.J. Barrett to continue to his role.
Okay, I get you.
But if I could get a point guard or a small forward, because I don't know how I feel about Kevin Knox, and at least
Kevin Knox is a bust.
Right.
You know who I want to see?
Let me finish.
Freezy, you just said you wasn't going to do that.
We're not doing that. But I'm back to my conversation. At least quickly coming off the bench with Alfred Payton, it's not a terrible situation. It could be it's terrible, but we got somebody who's emerging. We got Emmanuel Quickly who's emerging. I'm not sure. Alfred Payton is a good defender.
Giannis Moses and Elijah, who is the guy.
I got you. I got two of them.
That's why I would get a small forward first.
I got two.
No, not a small forward. Not a small forward. Who
Breezy, I'll kick
is
it off.
the guy?
I'll kick it off.
What are you willing to spend?
You want to know two guys I'd give up some draft capital?
Can I get a minute, Freezy? Let me get a minute for that answer. Let me get a minute. I need a minute.
Let me give you two, just to throw them out there. I like these players a lot. I already mentioned one, Malcolm Brogdon. I already mentioned another guy that has a knee right now that's a great defender, and I absolutely love his game, Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah, but he's hurt.
I understand that, but I'm talking trading, getting him for next year and the year beyond.
I got one. So I am, without a shadow of a doubt, in a heartbeat, willing to give up Kevin Knox, Reggie Bullock, and 2 first-round draft picks for Zach LaVine right now.
I would do that.
I'm doing
that.
Yeah,
everybody would. Everybody would, except the Bulls.
Kev W.
Except the
So
Bulls.
what else do you think? What else? So that's what I'm willing to give up at the start of the offer, right?
Yeah. Okay.
What else do you think would be needed in order for Chicago to initiate that, to say, I'm gonna take that trade? What else do you think is needed to be added?
That's a good point. Nah, man, I ain't. Mayberry, don't come on here.
Who'd you say?
They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it unless you entice it. They're not gonna do it for They're not gonna do it for C-class players.
Right. I'll tell you what I would do. What I would do is I would give them both draft picks in the 2021 draft class. Right.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Both. Stop playing around and get it done.
Right.
Stop playing around and get it done. And I would give them 2 draft picks, 2 second-round picks in the 2023 draft class, 2 second-round picks, and I wouldn't give them no player. Right? If 4 draft picks can't get me Zach LaVine can be got.
You have one problem, Freezy. It's called the NBA CBA, the collective bargaining agreement. And I don't know, and so some salaries are got to. Now the Knicks can absorb $18 million.
Right,
but that's what he's making.
But guess what Zach LaVine makes?
Like he's making $18 million.
$18 million.
Oh, so it fits into. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I don't think Bulls are feeling us, man. It's my.
But the thing is, like I was talking to a guy the other day. He's talking about selling the house. He was like, "Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, for 200,000." I'm like, "Man, I'm not paying no 200,000 for this."
Exactly.
Appraisals in this neighborhood is like 165, 170. But he was like, "Yo, but people around here are upgrading there. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. You're not getting ready to go 35 over for what people in the neighborhood are gonna do eventually. Nah, bro, I don't do that. I don't care if this place is there already. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we don't move money like that. We don't invest like that. What I'm telling the Bulls is this is my offer, and if you don't like it, keep Zach LaVine.
Yep.
That's just what it is.
Exactly. That's my point about all this stuff. Not that I don't believe in players. It's that we just got to make it the right move for us.
Here's my other thing.
Exactly. How many years have we thrown money at players or traded? Made dumb trades.
You want to talk about a guy that you wouldn't have to mortgage your future for, who's a great defender and only getting better on the offensive side of the ball, and is going to go cheap because of his knee, is Jonathan Isaac. That is a thing you can go after.
Well said,
He's
Zach.
young.
Well said, Zach.
He will come back from his knee injury. He is a freak athlete, great at defense. He's
Yeah.
shooting a little bit better, solid rebounder. He's everything Kevin Knox is apparently.
But are you guys suggesting he's available? Will he be made available? Because
I
if you
think
see
so
the-
because of his knee injury and because Orlando's just like floating around that 8th seed. They got to do something. Like whether get more capital, like even if it's a second rounder and a Dallas pick.
Hey, GI, if he's available, we got to listen to it. And if it's reasonable, we got to jump on it.
I'm just trying to throw players' names out there instead of saying what type of player you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like just kind of give some basis.
But just on your thinking, Zach, but your comment, what you were saying about it's
yeah,
got
Kev, anything for you?
What y'all think about Collins? I'm hearing a lot of stuff down here in the A about him. Him and Trey not getting along.
No, John Collins.
John Collins. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing a lot down because I'm in the A, so I hear a lot behind the scenes that y'all may not hear.
Why not?
From the local.
Why not?
Why not try? You got to field calls.
We already got Julius Randle and Obi. I don't know how John Collins fits.
They would want Julius.
They would want
sure
Mitch, Julius, or Obi. They want two of those.
Yeah, we ain't giving them no. We ain't giving them no Julius, no John Collins. John Collins.
Not for Collins.
I got a question for you, Freezy. My whole thing about Zach LaVine, phenomenal player. I'm not knocking his game, and I think he's having a great season too. Okay, we have RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett. You know, they're the main guys of this team.
Those are cornershots.
Right? Those guys are the main guys on the offense, right? So you're trying to make RJ Barrett as the number 3 scoring option. I think that's dangerous. I don't know if that works. That's why I would hesitate. I would pump the brakes on that idea.
We don't know yet if he can be a 2 or a 1.
No, Raphael, what I said was this. What I said is if you compare what we're talking about to chess, I want to push my pawns forward.
Mm-hmm.
And by pawns, I was referencing Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson, because you don't know what their ceiling is yet. Right? Allow them to develop, right? With no pressure. And bring in a guy that's semi-developed in Julius Randle. I mean, you have a guy that's semi-developed in Julius Randle and bring in another guy that's developed. And what that does is that takes the pressure off of your young guys. That's what I said. I didn't say send RJ Barrett to the bench or stop developing him or move him to the 3rd option or whatever. What I'm saying is let these young cats, like for example, Kevin Knox, let him develop organically without pressure. You bring in a Bradley Beal. Guess what that does to Kevin Knox, right? So Bradley Beal will get double teamed. Guess what that does to Knox in the corner for 3? Free up Knox in the corner for 3.
Thank you.
Where's RJ? Where's RJ?
Brooklyn, wait. I got to, Raphael, here's we're going to crush that. Who does Brooklyn have on their team? And is anybody talking about who's the options? What are they going to do? People are talking about whether they're going to win an NBA championship or not.
Right.
And you're talking about not making a trade because RJ may end up number 3, and that's not going to work. And Brooklyn has 3 of the best offensive players in the NBA right now.
And
Wait. Let me finish. I'm just trying to understand what GI is saying. That's all. Moses, Go ahead, Moses.
Is this pleasant, Kev?
Go ahead.
What I wanted to say is, you have a knockdown shooter in James Harden. James Harden, he can knock down the 3. Kevin Durant can shoot. You know, I don't know about if you RJ Barrett. I mean, you're gonna trust him to be shooting 3s.
So you're gonna trust to give him the load of the offense.
So if I put shooters and scorers around RJ Barrett, that other people have to go out and defend, that lane is gonna be so wide open for RJ. He gonna stay getting points around that bucket because if they pack in the zone and take out RJ, then the other guys are gonna get busy. Trust the process.
You gotta get a guy like.
So what Evergreen G just did to sandwiches, Michael Jackson just did to glittery gloves. What Evergreen G just did to sandwiches, Michael Jackson did to glittery gloves. I'm just here to tell you. Let me see. Mocha, fix me a sandwich.
Roses, I apologize for
Next thing you know, Mocha slapped Freezy on the back of the head. What you playing for, Freezy?
Point number one, Kevin Knox is already wide open. Right? Already wide open. The majority of the shots are already wide open shots. So whether we have Bradley Beal or not makes no difference. Point number, as far as Kevin Knox's development, because they're already leaving all of us wide open, right? They're playing his own and they're passing the paint because
why is he a bust? Keep going.
So if Kevin Knox, oh shit,
Kev, get out of the corner of your screen.
If Kevin Knox,
Zach, would you leave him alone?
I'm not a knoxer. I'm not a knoxer.
Wait, yes you are. Yes you are. Yes.
He's a Kwame. He's a
Evergreen,
Kwame.
we're not even talking about Knox. Evergreen, we're not even talking about Knox.
He's a Browner.
No,
he's a Kwame Browner.
A point was just made up about Knox. That's why I addressed that. Right now, when it comes to the development of R.J. Barrett, and you made the Brooklyn analogy. The difference between the Brooklyn analogy and the Knicks is that Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden are already developed. The balance of that, we already see the value in those three. We're still trying to establish what the value for R.J. Barrett is.
Evergreen, but that wasn't the discussion. No disrespect, but it wasn't about his.
No, I'm
development.
freaking out at that comment on the screen. 6'9", 250, and we need a power forward with size.
Hold on, what? No, the position. What I was responding to, he said you're going to make RJ a 3, and would he be comfortable in that role? That was the comment. Now, if you want to discuss what RJ is going to develop to, I'm with you on that conversation. RJ scares me from time to time. I'm still, there's still a jury out on RJ. I'm not defending that. But Raphael said if you brought in these players better than RJ, it would make him a number 3. And what would that do to RJ? And I'm saying I'm going to kill that argument about who's number 1, 2, or 3 when a team has 3 number 1s and everybody's talking about how they're going to potentially win the NBA championship. So I'm not going to not get players to come in here who could score the ball because it may take away from RJ. That's what I'm saying. Right. Not about RJ's development.
That's the most important thing. And thanks for that clarification too, G.I.
I personally like the idea of Julius Randle being the playmaker, RJ being a sort of playmaker, and having outside shooters like Quickly, who's becoming a great outside shooter, and another outside shooter. Like, I don't know if I want somebody else who's going to also dominate the ball. Like, maybe Brooklyn, their experience, and that's a good argument, Ghetto, but like, when you're talking about, developing players.
A reason it didn't work at OKC.
I'm gonna slide off the screen to let y'all eat. Okay, I'm not disappearing. I'm gonna slide off the screen so it'll be more room for everybody else to talk.
Like I totally get your argument and it's spot on. The only thing is to play devil's advocate to Ralph there and to maybe Evergreen a little bit is that when James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook were young, they couldn't play together. I mean, they made the finals, yes, but like when things mattered the most, when it came winning time, you saw their faults. But that happened, like that's a thing that matures with age and experience. And to Ghetto's point, if you bring in a baller that has experience in this league, it wouldn't exactly hurt RJ. Because I think RJ is about a year, maybe 2 away. Because you look at guys like I'm not saying he's going to be these guys, but Tracy McGrady and Kobe Bryant looked not anywhere near like their primes their first 2 or 3 seasons in the league. And if he were on the Knicks, they would have been running them to China. So like RJ might scare me a little bit, but his dog mentality and the way he is, I'm all right with it because he will eventually become something. So you got guys that are become something, and the guys that already kind of are becoming something, like Randall. He's becoming a stud. RJ's becoming a stud. Quickly's becoming a stud. Mitch is becoming a defensive stud. Right there's 4 guys. That's a core 4 that in time can develop. So what do you got to bring? What do you bring to fill this team out? You don't bring like 25, 30 point a game scorers. I mean, that's anybody would want that. But to fill out the team with those guys being your core, you want guys that can score with a catch and shoot situation and do everything, versatile, like a Malcolm Brogdon. Or you want guys that are defensive stoppers, like a Jonathan Isaac, who can guard wings. You want guys like that.
You're making my argument.
I know.
What about
GI is saying Zach's always right, and he might be muted a little bit.
You're making my. No, I wouldn't talk over you because I know how to do facial expressions without talking.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing, bro.
That's the power of my.
But
let me say this.
It's both of you. Both of you are right to an extent.
What about Jabari Parker? What do you guys think about bringing in Jabari Parker? For the cheap.
For the cheap, yeah, that's solid.
That's what I'm talking about.
My problem too is I want guys not just on the cheap because they can't stay healthy. I want guys that we're not going to give up a lot for, but are going to be available all season.
Since we have the coach, and the coaching staff, that will.
I'm done with the Reggie Bullock experiments. I'm done.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm talking small forward, Ghetto. Why do you think I'm talking small forwards? I'm talking small forwards all the time. You don't see it because they can shoot and they can play, and it's an upgrade.
I'm saying Jabari Parker is more of like a Reggie Bullock experiment. That's what I'm saying. Here's the thing. How many games have we lost by 4 to 6 to 10 points where Julius Randle and RJ have played their heart out? But the other guys, you go down, Rivers was 2 for 14. Bullock was 2 for 14. Burks wasn't available. Alfred Payton. So
don't say it. Freezy will be mad. Don't say it.
I'm not going to say that other name either. I'm not going to bring the name up. We need a third guy.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
What I'm saying is like how can we intelligently say that Emmanuel Quickly can't be that third guy eventually? You know what I'm saying?
I believe Quickly's our bench scoring.
Let me put that right now. Yeah.
Hey, yo, let me put this on your mind.
On his potential right now. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, let me put this on your mind. RJ Barrett has not. RJ Barrett and Knox. I don't know about Knox, but neither one of them has scored over 30 points.
Mm-hmm. At least RJ Barrett's consistent though. Like at least with his 17, 18.
But Quickly's already scored over 31.
Let me tell you, was Kobe and T-Mac scoring 50 plus in the first couple of years?
No, I'm just.
No, I understand. I know what Cav's saying. Cav,
Zach trying to mess with me.
He's getting in that tag.
I put it up last night on Man
because Cornerstone and Ghetto.
I know that. I know.
My tag.
I know. I brought it up last night about Quickly scoring the 31 and how RJ didn't score the 30 point, right? So we talked about is quickly talks of is he an all-star? I mean rookie of the year, he could be considered in the rookie of the year talk.
Who?
He could be in the conversation.
The problem is LaMelo.
No, not yet, Zach.
Well, because he has LaMelo Ball and guys like that.
LaMelo and Wiseman.
Yeah.
LaMelo and Wiseman.
My rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Who's your rookie of the year, Zach?
Wiseman's my rookie of the year.
Wiseman. You got G.I.?
Wiseman.
You got both of y'all got Wiseman?
I think it's between Wiseman and
Frank Ntilikina.
No, you're a jerk. You're a jerk.
You're
a jerk.
Ooh, you know I love you, Kev. You know it's all love.
I'm gonna put Halliburton in there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I gotta put Halliburton in there.
Okay, but all the guys y'all named, do they make their teams better?
Halliburton, I would say, yeah. It's just the Kings organization.
Wiseman makes his team better?
Yeah, I would say.
They don't have a big man without Wiseman.
And with Oubre.
Yeah, hey, Lawrence, you have a point. No, Lawrence, you have a point.
I'm not debating. I'm just asking. So that's how the rookie of the year is chosen. So I'm just asking the question.
Because if we make the playoffs and Golden State and I know Sacramento, I don't think it's going to make it, but if we make the playoffs before them, you got to look at Quickly. That's if he's still going the way he's going right now.
Yeah, but like the way like LaMelo, like Wiseman first makes his team better just because you like when healthy, those Golden State Warriors with a big man like that, they're a whole different cat.
But if they don't make the playoffs, what do you think?
But that's a wash because I mean you think about lottery teams or guys that are picking the top three. Are they? Is it because they're normally yes the Warriors if they're healthy, they're a playoff team. But like, do we expect Charlotte to make the playoffs because they have the Rookie of the Year? No, they're not a good team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do we expect, like, even if the Knicks had the Rookie of the Year, would we have expected them to make the playoffs? Like, some of us might have, but I'm saying, like, realistic or pessimistic, realist fans would have said no.
Yes.
We have more.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Quickly has to
what
score.
you laughing for?
No, I said the Chucksters.
Quickly has to score. Quickly has to score with a specific set. Quickly in the open floor, man. I haven't seen a Nick like him in a long time. What he could do on the open floor. His hesitation, one man trying to guard him, man. I felt so bad for them the other day. He got into the lane, but you can go zone on Quickly, and then he's in the zone. He sees all them bodies, and he's flipping the ball up at the rim. It's more under control. Wiseman is playing in the set, and that LaMelo Ball creates the offense.
Yeah, he creates.
The thing is, like, what I'm so enamored with Emmanuel Quickly is why I say we can't. I understand when people say 6-man. You know, I totally get it. Like, but we can't put a cap on his potential because, first of all, people were expecting him to be the 48th or 44th. Forgive me if I'm wrong on this sport, but a second-round draft pick. And for him to be in the first and play in the way he is automatically out of the gate, and his work ethic, the way he's commanding the troops as a rookie, whether he's a point guard or not, like that leadership, that ability to put some of the team's responsibilities on his back at times, you don't see that from second-round picks very often. So let's like he's part of our future, guys. He's part of our core.
Yeah,
he's
it's
not
like,
just a piece. He's part of the core.
When he bulks up,
yeah,
ahead,
it's like Knicks fans. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Knicks fans when they watch a game now, it's all for him. They want to see him.
But we got him. We got RJ. We got Randall. We got Mitch. We got 4 core guys, and we have possibilities of an Obi. Jury's out because of his injuries and because of just the way he's being used, but possibly an Obi. So that's 5 pieces. Possibly other guys.
When Quickly bulks up and he gets into the lane and he can hold his dribble because he's so small right now, he just wants to flip it. But when you ever see even Elf, you say what you want about Elf. When Elf get into the lane,
yeah,
he can hold his dribble.
He got $1 million move in a 10-cent
Here's a great question for the 4 of y'all. How many pounds do you want him to add? How many pounds do you want him to add?
I want him to look like. I want him to look. Here's what I forget. Add. I want him to look like. I want him to look like Dame Lillard. I want him to look like Elf Payton. I don't need him to be as big as Donovan Mitchell because I think Donovan Mitchell is just. But I want him to look. You can tell he's skinny. Look how he got to wear suspenders to keep his pants up. Yeah. So I want him to look like those other guards. I want him to look like CP3. I want him to look like these guards that you could tell if you see them, they could be bodyguards. They're point guards in the NBA, but if they went to the club, they could be a bodyguard. That's what I want.
But the thing is, too, and what makes it okay that Quickly was drafted in like this era is you don't always need that size right away. You can get by on your quickness. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like first, like Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
I'll say that again. Rome wasn't built in a day. We can't knee jerk and want this guy or this and that. Like when we're not realizing what's in front of us. Some of us aren't. So we're not realizing what the potential. Like next year, this team. And I'm not saying forget this year. Make the playoffs this year. Do what you got to do. But next year, you just wait.
Zach, you set me up for a pivot change. Lawrence, did you want to say something before? Because this was your flow. Before I
I just threw the question out there because. Usually the rookie of the year is the rookie who has the biggest impact on his team alone. They usually try the biggest leap
or the highest star potential.
Yeah. So I just asked that question because
here's a
great question.
If he for him to be in the conversation, would he have to start?
I wouldn't say that because LaMelo Ball is starting.
Ben Gordon won the 6th man of the year and rookie of the year.
LaMelo Ball isn't starting.
Yeah. If he came up the bench and scored.
Somebody made that point. They said Ben Gordon won the rookie of the year and the 6th man of the year, the same award when he came into the league.
None of us also mentioned Anthony Edwards. Right. None of us mentioned him either.
Yeah, but they
let me say
anyway, G.I., go ahead, man.
What'd you say, Raphael?
No, I like Anthony Edwards. He's struggling a bit, but I still think Anthony Edwards, he's a problem. Like, but
I was
might
just
be a
saying,
problem,
like
but
a rookie of the year voting.
So rookie of the year, maybe
GI, get in your flow, bro.
So let me say this, and because Ralph, I want to tack on to this because this is what my true concern is as a Knicks fan every night. Watching us around 800. Watching us around 500.
That's a good problem.
I like to be around 800 GI.
Watching us around 500. Let's say we're able to maintain this through the season, and we don't make a move, and we do what you guys say, because this is where I'm torn. Why I'm willing to go for Bradley Beal and just get out of this mindset. Let's say we stay around 500. And we end up with an 8 draft pick again. Then we get hold on, Zach.
No, I'm thinking.
And because I look at us when the mellow years, I was saying, okay, when we did have a draft pick, we had to reach for somebody to try to fit in. If we're going to hold on to these draft picks, then we need a guarantee. If we're not going to trade the draft picks, and I'm just fearful that 8 to 15 is not a guarantee. So if we stay around 500, my goodness. Well, you know why? Because that 8th draft pick, it scares the shit out of me. Yeah. The number 1 and the number 8 draft pick. So let me finish. What I'm saying is, at what point then do we scrap the plan? If we stay around 500, let the young guys play, because one thing that's guaranteed, young guys won't win in the NBA. Then when young guys aren't winning at a 500 clip in the NBA, they're not.
And we also have to
So when do we scrap the plan? Let the young guys play so we can guarantee we'll have a top 5 pick. That's my.
You want to know something, GI? Hold on, Kev. Hold on. I wanted to say something quick. When you think about that, we were a 17 win team 2 years ago. Last year we won how many games? This where you see improvement, and if you see we're not. It's not like we're hovering around 500 for 5 years. We've been a terrible team for 5 years, and if we end up 500 this year, get a draft pick that can help, and we get all this growth going into next year. If we get all this growth from Barrett, from Mitch, from Quickly, from Randall even, and from other guys, let's say Knox for some reason decides to start being a basketball player, and guys like that, we get growth from everybody as a team, then we're not a 500 team anymore. We're getting better. I'm not saying we're going to compete for a championship next year, but we can use those draft picks to add on to that.
Yeah, and don't forget, we're going to have Dallas's pick too if they don't make the playoffs as well.
Package that trade up.
No, we get it anyway. So you're right. I was thinking that too. We could package up, try to get higher.
If they don't make the pick, that's a high pick, right?
If a team takes it, nobody was taking that for LaMelo. Nobody was taking that for Wiseman. And if these are short shot picks, they're like, nope, we're not trading down for these players. But what if though we're a 500 team because RJ is lot high value, but it's because Burks gets hot, Randall is the man, and Bullock warms up. What if those 3 players make us a 500 team? And Mitch is Mitch. I trust Mitch. I really do. I have no question about it.
Bullock really hurt too,
No, but what if?
Fullock leads us to a playoff team. I think we're going to have a
what if he's the one who keeps us around 500? Then we need a future. Where's our future?
Like Randall is doing, Randall and contributions from these vets sometimes is keeping us around that, but so is RJ Barrett looking a lot better. So is Emmanuel Quickly looking like a steal. So is Mitchell Robinson's improvement.
Mitchell's the man.
You know what I'm saying? But but he's gotten a lot better this year. But I'm just saying, it's got to be a combination of everything. And you got look at Boston right in front of our eyes. They never rushed things, grew it the right way. The Miami Heat, they got a jump-started rebuild, in my opinion, because of Jimmy Butler and how that season went last year. But they had a lot of young guys. It's gonna get better. We gotta.
But what you're saying then, Zach, is in this deepest draft where they say the top 5 players. I don't know. I don't follow college, so I'm just regurgitating the hyperbole that's in the chat, that's in the streets. I don't know how to project the player from that's off the street into the NBA. I never have, and I never will. If so, I would saw Kawhi Leonard and
what
said,
I'm saying is I'd rather be a playoff team with a future with a core 4 or a 500. If we're 500, we got a future already. Like we have a core 4 already. What do you need a top 3 pick for if you can continue to build? Like if RJ ends up being a superstar, Randall ends up taking the next step to All-Star. Quickly,
so what if
becomes
these guys
a star.
just get you
like,
into? I'm
you
sorry,
need?
Kev. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You know what, Kev? You go first.
Somebody in the chat said this. He said we need to trade up and use our new scouting staff. And Walt, I can't see how he wrote it, but he said new scouting staff and Walt Perrin knows his guys. You know what? He's got a point with Walt Perrin. Well, that's why I put my trust.
Yeah, but you're changing it. You're changing the narrative a tad bit, Kev, because if the top 5 players are projected to be franchise players, nobody's taking your 2 picks and going down and adding a franchise player to a team that other teams already have started.
How many times have we heard deep drafts though not pan out?
I know, Zach.
Overhyped drafts not pan
I'm
out.
only.
I got to step aside, son. I got to get back to work.
All
See
right,
guys tonight.
I have a specific question for you, Zach.
Okay,
Are you fine being a 500 club who sneaks into the playoffs and tries to and because do you think free agents will come at some point? What would it if you stayed around the 500 club and the 8th draft pick, 8 to 14 draft pick every year? Are you fine with that? Do you think that plan gets us to a championship? That's what I'm. That's the
okay. I mean, that's a loaded question, but I'll try to answer it. Like that's a good question. It depends. Like, are we like Orlando Magic, where we have a 500 team every year with no consistent future? Like they don't have like they don't have a guy that's gonna be a superstar that's a young player right now. You know what I'm saying? And then you got guys like the Knicks. We can have that in RJ Barrett. We have guys like we're not going to be a 500 team forever. Let's say we end up 500 this year with Alfred Payton and Reggie Bullock as our starters. You know what I'm saying? And then next year we end up getting a couple key solid, cheap, or not even just cheap, but like solid veterans that are actually solid, even a little bit better than Alfred Payton, Reggie Bullock, and then quickly all of a sudden becomes a starting point guard.
My whole thing, Zach,
and plays great. And then RJ becomes a 23-point-a-game scorer, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Randall keeps doing what he's doing. Mitch becomes a 15 and 10 guy out of nowhere, or he works more on his shot. If all these things happen and our potential that I see out of our guys comes through, we're not going to be a 500 team forever. We will have a future in contention and competing. Just stay the course, man. And if that means making a trade for a star that helps this, then
Zach,
that's what
let
it
Ralph
means.
get in. I've been trying to shut up and get Ralph get in. As soon as you start talking, you go back on your damn saying the same thing.
I'm trying. Yeah, I was trying.
Well, I'm trying to be like Ralph.
No, my whole thing is not. But my whole thing is, I just think that people just believe in the draft too much. The draft is a crap shot. Like you hit, you miss. If you look at Tankathon, I don't know if you guys can do it right now, but we have 4 picks. And right now, with the way the Knicks are playing, I feel I would have put it past players, certain stars, to want to play for the Knicks. So I mean, I get it in the off season. Nobody wants to come to nobody wanted to come to the Knicks. But the way they're playing right now, I would think that if you say, hey, listen, there might be a certain player that might be interested for a draft pick, I would consider using a draft pick is what I'm talking about. And I think that we should I thought about I put it in the comments, TJ Warren, because I came up with Jabari Parker. I said, you know what? I like look how TJ Warren and Domantas Sabonis works out. And I'm like, you know what? I think we need our own version of like a TJ Warren in our roster right now. Somebody who's
how old is he? How old is he?
I mean, I'm not always talking.
Maybe 26, maybe like mid 20-ish.
Yeah, that's mid
to high. I don't know, but I got to guess.
All right, but my thing is, I'm not always looking to make to find the solution right away. Like I've seen OKC trade CP3. They had him for a year, and then they traded him again. And my whole thing is, why can't we do the same? Even though it might cost us a draft pick, even though Kemba Walker is injured, I'm not trying to be the biggest Kemba Walker supporter, but it's just an idea of like, look, you bring an idea about Bradley Beal, his big contract. That's fine. Hey, listen, I understand that. But again, if I can get Kemba Walker for the cheap, which is what I'm not saying I'm not trying to push it like some other fans, like, yo, we want a draft pick for CP3, or we want a draft pick for Russell Westbrook, or we want a draft pick for Kemba Walker. No. I understand that this is a good player. So if I can get him and it'll be cheaper, it won't cost me as much, because I'm not trying to. Am I going to use the draft picks as a resource? Yes, but am I trying to use them all? No. Why? Because I still do think it's important to. We did get one parent for a reason, so I want to keep one every year.
You know what the best part about this is? The three of us have sort of similar views sometimes, but we're focusing on all aspects of building a championship Knicks team, and that's what our front office is doing. So just believe that if they make a move, let's trust it.
But my only problem where I question, and Ralph, if I'm going to change the topic, because I am going to talk about whether I see the product on the floor and acquiring all these draft picks. And I wish Joe Madden, I just saw something Joe Madden said in the chat that might make sense.
Salute,
maybe they're getting all these draft picks together, not to draft in those positions. Because I guess I'm black and white. I try to keep it simple. So I'm thinking we're acquiring all these draft picks to hopefully get 1 through 8 and then 10 through 27 like we did this year. Maybe Joe is right. Maybe we're getting all these picks so we can throw them at people. And he said it before. He said, like, for example, if he offers somebody 4 picks, they would have to they'd be crazy to turn down taking 4 picks for 1. But it's not, I don't see the NBA like the NFL. In the NFL, if somebody has the number 1 pick and you offer them 4 other picks in that draft, they're taking it, because the NFL, you really have to build a team on the offense, the defense, and the special teams. The NBA, one player in the NBA really can change the trajectory of your whole franchise. Look at LeBron James. Look at Giannis Antetokounmpo.
You ever think they're trying to trend set? They're trying to do something different?
I don't know. It could be, Zach. I can't argue.
I just know we all got great points, and we all are looking at things and listening to each other. And I think that's what every different employee in the front office and the coaching staff and from top down in the New York Knicks organization is doing right now. And I'm so happy about that. Not everybody's just doing politics. Not everybody's just listening to one guy because he's Phil Jackson. We're actually doing something, and they're probably in the war room, and they're sitting there and they're talking and they're thinking and got dialogue and they're seeing what's best for the team, and they're going to make the right decision.
Go ahead, Ralph. Make your statement, because I
wanted to ask you, what do you guys think about Lou Will?
Before you change it, before we do that, because Lou Williams is old. He's only going to go. You got to know older players. Here's why I say, Ralph, older players who are on the verge of winning championships, they control whether they want to play or not, and they can power So if you tell Lou Williams he's going to the Knicks to help develop, he's going to tell you he'd rather retire before he go to the Knicks to help a developing team
or get an absurd amount of money.
So that right, or pay me out the behind to come off the bench for you, because that's where my true at. He'd rather come off the bench for a championship caliber team and play deep into June and become. But here's my fear. And last year, I said, I'm going to say this name. I said it twice in one broadcast. My goodness, they said Fizdale was the development coach. So then I trusted that we were going to run out all these young guys. He would try to develop them. Now, I know there's no such thing as tanking. But the Knicks last year, to us, was a very rough season, even though it ended in March. And we ended up with the number 8 pick in the draft. And it was a rough year for us, and we got an 8 pick, and we said, man, those top 3 guys would change the trajectory of our. If we go at this rate, and I'm looking at the teams that we're better than a lot of teams. I mean, we're better than a lot of teams in the NBA as a whole right now today. And if we continue on this trajectory, my fear is we get these low draft picks. So is the front office and we're talking about one of the deepest drafts. I guess if we're building through the draft, I guess in my mind, and this is why I need Jack and Joe to tell me that I'm crazy or something. In my mind, if you want to build through the draft, then you will want to play these young guys more. Stop leaning on Burks as much. Stop leaning on Rivers as much. Stop leaning on Randall as much. Stop leaning on, because these 4 guys outside of RJ get the most minutes. Quickly gets thrown in there a little bit. Elf Payton. We really are leaning on veteran players, but yet we're saying we're developing and building through the draft. This is where I do support Freezy's argument is management and tips, because these coaches, they want to win. Some of these coaches want to win more than the players do. Tibbs is one of those guys. There's no nights off where players walk in the court and say, you know what, I ain't feeling it today. Let's just take this L. It ain't that serious. So my question is, at what point do we really start playing the young guys to guarantee us? I used to say I thought it was a 3rd pick. I thought the worst team couldn't fall no further than 4. How does the 2 mix? And I guess I'm just getting fearful that we're going to become a perennial 650 club. Try to find.
But the thing is, you got
Okay,
guys that don't play. You got teams that are the worst aren't getting the number 1 pick anymore. I mean, the Pelicans got Zion. Like the lottery is different now. So I think the only way to go is that you don't bank on winning the lottery, especially if you're the Knicks, and you just try to win as many games as possible. Because we're not going to, even if we had the worst record in the league, we ain't getting the number 1 pick. History is showing.
My whole thing is, I remember looking at Utah. Utah didn't draft. They drafted Donovan Mitchell at 13. You know, I see, and Walt Perrin was there. I remember Zach made a comment about the Heat got an advantage with the draft. I don't know. I don't know exactly what he meant by that. But
what did you say? What did I say?
About the Miami Heat got an.
No, I said the Miami Heat got an accelerated rebuild with when Jimmy Butler came, and they had a bunch of young guys, and they just all worked well together. They had a magical run. I didn't say anything about the draft.
With Bam, the young guys. Okay, but anyway, look, Bam Adebayo was in the middle of the draft. He was like 15.
They drafted well.
Cool. Who else? Tyler Hero, 13.
Duncan Robinson.
Duncan Robinson, a 2nd-round pick. I don't even think he was. I think he went undrafted, either undrafted or a 2nd-round pick. But my whole thing is, and that's the type of person that I'm looking for, Duncan Robinson. Like I don't know, but as a small forward, somebody who's a little bit. Anyways, but long story short, so I feel like you're possibly becoming more worried and more anxious than you should be, because we got that guy. Because you got. Yeah, I gotta call it for what it is.
God of Elijah. Just so we're clear, I am a 50-year-old man. I was born in 1971. Okay, I was in diapers when our last championship year. I don't remember all the men in the house running up and down the street excited, and the Knicks were good then, so it wasn't like, you know, my dad played college ball with Earl of Pearl Monroe, you know what I mean? So this was the norm. I lived through the 90s. I can tell you the amount of plays specifically where we were supposed to win a championship.
I want to make a quick point.
When 99 came, I just want to give you, because I just want to explain my PTSD. When 99, 2000, from the 1999 to 2000, you know, I bump. So I'm fearful.
My point
is, hold on. I'm very fearful of dying.
Damn, we all are right now.
I'm very fearful of dying without seeing the Knicks championship. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna give it to you right back. I think Leon Rose was aware of that, right? Of Knicks fans, not just you, but other Knicks fans as well. And that's what he said. Listen, I answered that question already. Walt Perrin got 19 years in the league doing this, and he's an expert drafting 13 through 15 within the middle of the rounds, and hitting. So, because sometimes we could be at 8, like you said, we could be in the lottery, like you're saying, but we have struck out. So it doesn't. There's no guarantees. So whatever guarantee you're trying to find, there's no such thing. I mean, because you could strike out with the lottery balls. So there's no guarantees. Well, the only thing you can do is get an expert like Walt Perrin and look to win games and trust him. So I feel like Leon Rose already said, listen, guys, I got Walt Perrin in. We could win games. And this guy has been known to be hitting. Not to mention, I mean, some people made this Scott Perry, but we got 2 first rounders and we got 2 second rounders. So we got 4 chances already. 4. I mean, I think once you have 2 in the first round and 2 in the second round, I mean, just go play some ball, go try to win some games. We're gonna get somebody. That's what I feel.
The only response I was and I'm not saying you're wrong. Because look, we found quickly at 25, right? So, and he looks like he's going to be a world beater if he puts that weight on, right?
Right.
There's still a lot of ifs, though. All I'm saying is I've seen players come out that draft in that top 5 positions, and people say they were going to be, and they were. And I'm hearing that this draft coming up, again, I don't analyze the draft. I barely watch college basketball. I hate they got them sitting in zone. There's no excitement to the game except when I see teams play man-to-man. I go, oh, they're playing man-to-man. Let me watch. Because then I can say, oh, look at his individual moves. That will transition to the NBA, even though the NBA is playing a lot of zone now, right? But what I'm saying is I've watched us go through years of winning games and come out to that middle position. And maybe, and your response is correct. Walt Perrin, maybe we got guys who can find gems. But I also know if there are these top 5 world beaters, then why aren't we falling back, playing younger guys more? And I'm not even saying we could lose more games right now without raising the culture, but we literally go out and we'll kill Randall to win 1 game. We will kill Randall and RJ in one night to win that game. And Knox will get no minutes. So the Knoxers can stop having this argument. Well, if he got more minutes, quickly could be starting and Elf could become that. We are absolutely setting out to win games now. And we know even if we set out to win every game tonight, we at best would be a 8th seed with this squad we have right now. That's where I'm not understanding.
Now, I want to respond to that because you make a good point. But I think that one of the things you need to change in the culture is I'm not putting you there because I'm cool with you. You're a good guy. You play hard. You have to know how to win. That's what brings you. That helps you on your contract years. That's what helps you get minutes on the floor. Those, in my eyes, I think. But my whole thing. So, Knox, the situation with the young players, they have to know how to win in this league. This is a league that everybody's trying to win. Everybody's trying to kill each other. So I don't disagree with Tip's approach. You gotta. That's how you show people. Listen, man, I'm here to win. What are you doing for me to help me win these games? Or are you just doing whatever you want to do? Or are you just focused on your stats? Or are you just focused on your minutes? Or are you just the more you learn how to play to win for this team, the more minutes you'll get. And a lot of people have to learn. And so I agree that Alec Burks should be getting minutes because at the beginning of the season, he was going off and he was not, he could score. He was a good third scoring option. I saw RJ passing him the ball. Of course, Julius was passing him the ball. He was knocking down his shots. And then and sometimes I feel like players, fans don't understand something until I don't see it until I believe it. And when I see it, like you see RJ and Burks working and with Julius Randle, and you see them, wait a minute, we beat the Pacers. And you see it, then you're like, wait a minute, okay, all I need to do is this. And if I could play my role right and I could learn from Burks, or and so forth and so forth. So my whole thing is these guys got to learn how to win. It's not about giving you minutes for free to develop. Developing is watching Burks sometimes.
So
you got to watch Burks when you
I
get
love
win
Allerton, but we're not committed to him long term, and
Right.
so we're gonna win games today with him. He's not part of the future. And again, Ralph, you got to remember, my eyes are on a trophy. Period.
Mhm.
Nothing less, right?
Right.
But here's my question: then, if the game plan was absolutely to win now, and I
Mhm.
don't know what. Oh, I didn't even know that Obi was the player of the year until the draft came and they were like, we want him. I didn't even watch college ball last year because remember it ended early, and I don't really watch till March Madness. Maybe March Madness if Dayton would have went far, I'd have said, oh, this Obi kid is good. But I didn't get to the point where I would watch. Okay, but let me say this: if we wanted to win now, and we wanted to guarantee winning now, then the thing we were missing, if they knew Randall was going to turn out to be this, the biggest thing we were missing was a point guard. Why wouldn't we have drafted a point guard in Halliburton to make sure that we won more games now? That's if winning now is the key. We drafted Obi to win now because he was NBA ready, and Obi could barely get himself on the floor. Obi has been a part of none of the wins, and I know he's been hurt, but even when he's been in the game, he has not impacted winning. So my point is, if it's management's position and Tibbs' position to win now, then why didn't they draft a win now player?
I think it's two things, and I've heard this before. When you draft a player, you have to draft him to the right position. And he has to be in the right organization, and he has to be in the right situation, and also the fit. My belief with
Quickly was always in the plan.
Cool. But let me no. But cool. But you want to finish? But I was going to say something real fast. But also, so you also have Quickly, and also you have an all-star Julius Randle and a talented. Though people don't believe he's talented, Obi's talented and he's behind Randall. So he's learning the game. So by the time, right now, we're in the moment. And luckily we're 8-10. But I feel like mid-season, we're gonna have a different conversation where you're gonna say, wow, I didn't see that from Obi. Oh snap, I didn't see that from Obi. Oh, Obi's and that's what it's about. It's not I don't want the same player from college. I'm hoping that when Obi starts to get his groove, that we see a better version right now.
Man,
so
calm down.
I do. Hold on, before you go, I do agree that Maxey and or Quickly was in the plan. I do agree with you on that because they were slipping so far. The problem is though, Quickly is not really ready to win right now. Right. Where Halliburton's body would have been a much better win now, and his defense is so good. So that my point is, I'm actually coming back to you more. The point you keep making is for sure management and Tibbs on the same timeline as to when it is to win. Right. I am starting to get concerned about that, especially when I say, wow, we're going to win more games. Vegas went from 22 to 34. There's a reason. Vegas don't play.
Oh, I didn't know
they
that.
Went from 22 to 34. Okay?
Hey, so Raphael, what happens is not to cut off GI, but in Vegas, the house always wins. The house always wins in Vegas, right? So they'll slide that number up and down so that the house wins. They don't have an ego like us. They're not going to stick to their point until they die. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Vegas is going to be like, yo, we're going to slide this number up and down until, to ensure that the house wins. But to the point that I heard earlier, I just want to say this. Emmanuel Quickly was always in the plan, right? It's just, and you could tell by the way they maneuvered in the back half of the first round of the draft. Mm-hmm. They moved up and back, acquiring assets, right? But the plan was to always get Emmanuel Quickly. And you know why? Because Kenny Payne saw Ashton Higgins, Tyrese Maxey, and Emmanuel Quickly every day. And so the player he wanted in my opinion, was Emmanuel Quickly because it immediately brought something to the table, right? Sorry about that, Joe. So he saw exactly what Quickly could do. He said so he knew Quickly had a mid-range game and a three-point game, and was a great free throw shooter, right? So he saw that every day. So he was like, so what does the Knicks roster need? The Knicks need a point guard that can shoot the three.
You could turn the camera off while you're pissing, homie. Just the mere concept of it.
Oh, wait a minute.
The way GI put that out there was just eloquent,
Thank you.
man.
Hey, yo,
Thank
Joe.
you.
Hey, Joe. By the way, I like to think I pulled you out of the chat too, baby. I like to think I pulled you out of the chat to drop.
No, he wanted to see my beautiful face. What's up, Joe?
Joe,
I love the hair. Looking good, bro. What's happening, guys? How we doing? What's up, Ralph? What's up to the chat? How we doing?
Is Joe Madden in the Matrix?
Yeah, you're breaking up, Joe.
Joe, you in the Matrix?
Better. Good.
No.
Hold on.
Come on, man. We gotta have certain rules. But Evergreen G broke several rules today. He ate on camera. He had food all over his mouth. He got the camera at the pisser. Hey, yo, Freezer, we gotta get some water.
Hey, the pisser caught me off guard like it did you. It caught me off guard too.
And the next Morning Star is Evergreen G's G.
I'm in my office. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, he's in the office. That's right. He's in Pack. I forgot he's in Pack. That's right.
I'm in my office.
Hey, so Evergreen G is the dopest name on YouTube, by the way. And I wish I had thought of it first because I love Evergreen and I love G's. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be from where I'm from to understand what that's about, man.
Yeah, well, I've been through something, so I understand the Evergreen part. Maybe
you got to be where I'm from to understand what ghetto intellect means, baby.
and ghetto intellect is the name and the description at the same time. How about that? He is ghetto intellect, the ghetto intellect. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but yeah. So the thing. Okay, let me let Joe back in, bro. So the thing is in my opinion, is the Knicks had their heart set on Emmanuel Quickly, and the fact that they played it close to the vest is a boon for a Knicks organization that never keeps stuff close to the vest. You know what I'm saying? Everything. If it had been a prior regime, they'd be like, "Oh, we love this kid Emmanuel Quickly." You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
In fact, what I was hearing on the back end was a big man, that we wanted a big man on the back end.
Right.
So when we got this guard, I was like, oh, we got this guard. And then Calipari went crazy. I said, all right, maybe give him a chance. And then preseason came quick.
And so
go
ahead.
What I was gonna say was that the problem was that they wanted Obi, so they moved that was it the 27th pick and the 38th pick up to 23, and when Obi fell, they 5.
Yeah, Joe, you breaking up, man. Jay, nah, everybody say you breaking up.
I don't know why.
Hey, so let me say peace to the chat. Yo, everybody in the chat, man. So sometimes our conversations get a little in depth, and sometimes it seems as if we're ignoring the chat. We don't ignore the chat, man. We see y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's just we don't want to cut people off that are speaking just to say, wacko Knicks fanatic, what's good? You know what I mean? Primo, what's happening? What's good? AF, what's the deal? Alan Duarte, the most interesting man in the world. What's good?
Only Zach is arrogant enough not to think he's smarter than the chat.
Hey, that's yeah.
Beat me in my own game, homie. That's fierce.
Hey, JD, what's good? Hey, yo, so JD is so smooth. So Jonathan JD, that's in the chat, he's so smooth on the Knox at Night podcast that, you know what I'm saying, he's built for
Knox at Night.
Yeah, yeah. I have to change the name because Kevin
The Bust at Night podcast?
The Bust at Night podcast.
Welcome to
Uncle
the Bust.
Crazy.
Welcome to Knoxercising our busted demons.
Joe looking better now. I got to hear from Joe. Joe, I was on it this morning. Talk to me.
Better.
Oh.
All right.
Joe, hey, Joe, you got to show some computer love. Yeah, you got to show
giving you
some
spirit fingers, bro.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully it works.
And he froze up.
We just trying to help his connection. That's what
Can
we
we
do,
all
help his
just
connection.
enjoy the faces that Joe Madden is froze on? They're all different.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, I'm gonna move Joe real quick until Joe system let him go. All right. So here's the thing, man. I heard what God and Moses and Elijah was saying earlier, right? And I kind of agree, but I kind of don't. I kind of say if I don't want to. Where I disagree is I don't want to make a move for the sake of making a move, right? What I want to do is if we make a move, it's got to be a focused move. You know what I'm saying? And we have to have a budget. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to be like, yo, I'm just going to go out and then improve the roster. I'm just going to go get a guy. I don't want to do that because I think that may negatively impact synergy. You know what I'm saying? So what I'll say is if there's a guy that can be had and we have the assets budgeted to get him, hold on, let me move Joe. I say let's do it. Oh, there he is. There, hold on. So yes, I would say do that, but I'm not just gonna, willy-nilly arbitrarily say, I want to go get a guy and the budget is wide open. I don't want to do that.
Well, I wasn't saying necessarily budget is wide open because I want to keep drafting, but I want to keep drafting every year. I got to keep a lot of things in context, so I want to keep drafting every year. I think that's important. But I do think if I can make a move for a third scoring option, here's the question too.
Would you trade Obi Toppin and Mitchell Robinson 2 first-round picks for Bradley Beal?
If they would take that, yeah, but I think they would want more.
Would you trade that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes. So now we getting somewhere with the point because the point has been ever morphing and oblivious. You know what I'm saying? Not really refined. And so we were trying to get to a point where it was more focused, but because it's to what you were saying in the beginning when you mentioned that we knew it would be an open-ended question. We knew that. You know what I'm saying? We knew that.
And I think we should talk about this more often than Kevin Knox or Alfred Payton or Reggie Bullock. I think we should be talking about more of like somebody's gonna the Knicks are making an evaluation. Why did Tip say we're making an evaluation for 20 days for the 20 games? Why he said that for? Like, what's the point?
And not to evaluate the roster per se. And y'all, you know what? I just found out like a couple of years ago, per se was French. I didn't know that.
Breezy with the facts.
I didn't know that. I used to hear people say per se, and I thought per se was an English word. I didn't, but whatever. Like
law.
Yeah.
Breezy with his stories from Birmingham, Alabama.
But anyway, like etc. and que sera sera. You know what I'm saying? So I used to, like, you hear stuff like that, and I'm thinking like, that's interesting. Those words are not. I mean, you don't walk around the hood like que sera sera. I mean, if you speak English.
I mean, you don't per se.
Not per se.
See what I did there?
Yeah. So anyway, let me do this. So if you like what you're hearing, if you like the things that you heard today on the podcast, so we do the live stream in a podcast format. So we do a live stream so that we can archive it, so that you can hear all the live streams in a series as a podcast. So in our podcast format, we talk about 90% Knicks and about 10% pop culture and other things. And so I know a lot of people that tune in just want straight Knicks and want straight Knicks dialogue. But in this case, we do. This is the Knicks Morning Drive. It's a podcast, just like the Knicks at Night is a podcast. So it's part education, part entertainment. So we ask. So sometimes we ask people to come on and like we had Orlando Hudson on the show once. I think we had Jonathan Macri on. So Jonathan Macri will be on again February 1st for about 15 or 20 minutes. Just to chop it up about a few things. He's a fan of the show, and we're a fan of his. So Terry from Terry and Trey will be on sometime before the end of January also. So we look to have some people on. Hopefully we can get Sim Russell back on the joint, just to come through and spread goodness and cheer. And hopefully we can get other celebrities like God of Moses and Elijah to come on more often. To make bold predictions like Julius Randle will average more assists, and that will make the Knicks better.
I have a request, Freezy. I need Kaiser Soze. I need him on the panel because he's always like, he wants to hold on to every draft pick. In fact, he wants to trade players for more draft picks.
Yeah.
If he had 6 players and 80 draft picks, he'd be the happiest Knicks fan in the world. I need him to come tell us what he's gonna do with those draft picks one day. I need him to hit the link.
And so we try to inspire, entice, invite others to come on to come onto the video chat because it's not so for those that have a good camera and those that have a good microphone and a great internet connection. Think about this. It's not that we want you to come on. Hey, Black Andy in the building. What's good? But it's not that we want you to come on just to sit here. We notice that a lot of y'all have opinions that y'all post in the chat. And what we want to do is have you come on and elaborate on those short comments that you put in a virtual chat by being here on a video chat where you can defend what you say in real time, where we won't have to scroll for your comment and all of that stuff.
I want Wacko Knicks Fanatic on the show.
Hey,
last night, Knicks at Night podcast, I saw a comment that said trade Julius Randle to free up minutes for Obi and Knox.
Oh, get out of here.
I swear to God. I should have screenshotted it. On Milo. On Milo, I saw it.
Oh, wow.
On my son. Trade Julius Randle to free up minutes.
Hey, how's the baby doing?
Good. He's good.
Man. Good.
He's good, man.
So let me ask you this, because I want to get to a Knicks question. I'm going to throw a live Knicks grenade.
Pull that pin.
I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to throw it right in the middle of the room. And I know it's going to set Evergreen G off.
Uh-oh.
It's going to set Evergreen G off, right? So before I do that, I just want to ask you, Zach, a question real quick.
Uh-oh.
So I argued with a guy last night. We were talking about cars.
Okay.
Right? And so he told me that hot rods were more impressive than pimp rides, right?
Okay.
And so for those that don't know what hot rods are, just think about the fastest, meaning looking sports car, you know what I'm saying, you can imagine. And as far as pimp rides, just think about the biggest, most obnoxious whip that you've ever seen and tell me which one you like best. And that's what we were arguing about last night, right? Because and the reason why I had to change the subject is because he said he preferred the Brooklyn Nets direction over the Knicks' current direction. And it pissed me off.
Okay.
I started to fire his ass, but I mean, sometimes you got to keep people. Sometimes people have a skill that is not easily found. You know what I'm saying? So you
We in at-will state, baby. Just let him go.
Yeah. So I told him so. So one of my favorite rides is a '79 Lincoln Continental, right? That's one of my favorite rides.
Okay.
Right. And so
I'd like a '67 Continental over that, but that's my opinion.
And so you like bigger, but I
like everything. I like everything.
Right. Hey. So the '79 is super fly though. It's super fly.
That's why they make all sorts of cars, man. You like what you like.
Right. I mean, I like
me. I'm a hot rod guy.
Oh,
muscle car guy.
That's BS.
But what you
mean? Ain't no hot rod. Oh yeah, you do. You race. I forgot. That's right.
He's fast and furious too.
I also had a '51 Chevy Coupe, which is a boat on air ride with a small block Chevy in it.
Okay.
You know, I've raced. I've had low riders. I guess you'd call it rat rods. I mean, I like them all.
The rat rod.
2000. I like
rat rods where it's like rusted and making it look like junk on purpose, but it's got the loudest motor. It's low.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you're talking about something that'll steal people like their money.
Because 03 Mercury Marauder, a 2003 Mercury Marauder.
Wow.
What about it?
I love.
Oh, okay.
Big body cars like 2003 Mercury Marauder.
That's I like everything, man. I'm not just one or the other.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like Mercury's version of a Caprice Classic or something like that, but like the newer bubble Caprices.
Right.
That's me right there.
Oh wow! You lived there. You must live down south.
I lived in Florida and I live in North Carolina for some time, but yeah, I got into it living in Florida.
Right.
I've always been a Mustang guy, man. Always.
Right.
I just
so let me throw this live grenade in
Here we
the room
go.
so that GI can come from behind his barricade, right? And then this is gonna piss Evergreen G off, right? But at this point, after what Evergreen G did to me with that sandwich, I don't care, right?
In the bathroom incident.
Yeah. Oh, gee. So here's the thing. Hey, Evergreen, look, I'm gonna take all my draft picks and all my young players and trade them for 2 stars to go with RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. I'm gonna take all my draft picks and all my young players
and all my busts
and trade for Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal. And I'm gonna roll out with Emmanuel Quickly, who's the only person that I'm gonna say. Emmanuel Quickly, Bradley Beal, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Karl Anthony Towns. And I'm not going to have any draft picks. I'm not going to have any salary cap space. I'm not going to have any young core. All I'm going to have is Emmanuel Quickly, Bradley Beal, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Karl Anthony Towns, and no future assets. None. You hear me? None. I'm willing to give them all up.
And you win an executive of the year.
For Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal. And listen, and when Fat Joe, listen to me, hear me out before y'all explode. When Fat Joe comes up with our championship theme song, when Fat Joe is coming down 34th, talking about all the way up, I don't want to hear y'all talk about some stupid rebuild. I don't want to hear y'all talking about, but we could have got Cade Cunningham. I don't care.
You want to know what happens after all this? You turn off your Xbox because you're not turning our assets into those guys.
Yo, I'm telling you, Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal, right? All those draft picks
Kevin Knox.
gone. Kevin Knox, the first to go.
He in China.
Right? And I'm filling up my bench, with salary minimum vets that want to win a championship.
And Jared Dudley.
And Jared Dudley.
What about Brandon Ingram?
No.
I just said no.
Why not? Why not?
Because I have Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal. I'll have. Can you imagine double teaming Julius Randle when you have Bradley Beal and Karl Anthony Towns? No, you can't. You know why? Because you can't. Can you imagine?
Did you say you're getting rid of RJ too?
No.
Oh, the Baratia.
No.
All right.
No, you build. You take.
I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough.
That's enough.
All right. Let's. Who exactly are you giving up? Who? I already know the picks. I get the picks. Who exactly are you giving up? Now, with that being in mind,
Frank Ntilikina.
Understand that Minnesota sees a lot of value in Cat because they just D'Angelo Russell's over there.
Right.
And they just got the #1 draft pick, and he's doing pretty well, if you ask me. Right?
For a rookie, yeah.
For a rookie, he's doing pretty well. So, whom exactly are you giving up? I know you're giving up the draft picks, but who exactly are you giving up to get Minnesota to say, you know what? I'm willing to give you guys Cat.
So
Evergreen G like the Bernie meme right now.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Everybody is on the table except quickly RJ, Randall. Everybody else can step.
Okay, so you want to except quickly RJ and Randall.
Yeah.
So how many players do you intend on having on this team?
It doesn't matter as long as I get
Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal.
So when I get Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal, I can fill up the bench with vet minimums.
Any questions?
Okay.
And he's gonna give up a bag of chips and a few draft picks to get him.
I'm giving up everything.
He's gonna win Executive of the Year.
I'm telling you right now. So you can only trade draft picks 5 years from the current year. So I'm willing to give up everything from 2021 to 2026 to get Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal. And it won't cost that much. It won't cost that much to get them. Right? Because we have 2 firsts in 2021 and we have 2 firsts in 2023. Right? So I'm giving up. I'm sorry. I'm giving up y'all darling Obi Toppin. Got to go. Got to go.
Okay.
Knox got to go.
Let me add
Mitch got to go because a package of Mitch, Knox, and Obi starts the conversation for Karl Anthony Towns. I think I only have to give them 3 picks if I give them that.
Okay, so I want to allow. We already know that Cat and Tibbs aren't the best of friends. Will we agree with that statement?
Hey, well, I would almost agree, except you have to take into account the settings in which they had the rocky relationship.
Fair enough.
So they had a rocky relationship in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in a place where winning is not important.
So you think that after that rocky
and Karl Anthony Towns is not from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Guess where he's from?
He's from Jersey. I got you. Listen, you preaching to the choir. So you think, and again, I'm not shooting down this idea, right? I'm not shooting it down. Do you think that a relationship like that can be like repaired? Right? Because again, I'm simply talking about the psyche that Cat has. Right?
Winning solves everything.
Yeah, but playing is a part of winning. I'm talking about whether Cat's gonna actually want to play for this team. Because remember, getting traded is not necessarily.
He'll have no choice.
Of course, he'll have a choice. If you're gonna come to a team, if you don't want to put out and play,
he won't get his money. You can get out of a contract if they hold out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying not play. I'm talking about. I'm not saying physically not play. I'm talking about put in effort. Is what I'm talking about.
Right. And he could pout because stars do that when they don't have leverage, they pout.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And in a trade from Minnesota to the Knicks, obviously the player in this case would have zero leverage. Right? Like it's not like he's in the last year of his contract and he did something like Kevin Garnett did for Minnesota and Kevin Garnett eventually walked. It's not like he was putting up Kevin Love numbers and had leverage to be able to get moved. Like Cat's a damn good player, but in a trade like this, he has no leverage. He's already playing with his best friend. He's also playing with the #1 draft pick, right? They have essentially a youthful team that they can build with that I would imagine that he sees value in at the moment. At this very moment in time, I would imagine, whether they have a losing record or not, he sees value in it simply because his best friend is there. So to take him and snatch him out of there and to bring him to New York, where he just so happened, he just so happened to be from the tri-state area, so I get that. But to bring him to New York when he complained about not playing with players and he got a player, and now he's playing for a coach that he didn't like in the first place when that coach was there, who, I get it, he was also the coach and he was also the GM, right?
Right,
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, and this is just for people to think about, snatching Cat out of that element to bring him to this element. Will that say to Cat, you know what? I'm gonna play my heart out in New York City.
Another thing, Freezy, is we heard you wanted to give up Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox, right? Who'd you say for Cat?
Mitch.
Okay, what are you giving up to get Bradley Beal then?
Right. That's the second part.
Because you're just getting that was just for Karl Anthony Towns. Now, what are you gonna do for Bradley Beal? Alec Burks, Reggie Bullock, Alfred Payton.
No.
In a second?
No. What you do is you trade the rest of your draft picks.
Wait, how many draft picks is Minnesota getting? Come on, I don't feel like you thought this all the way out. How many draft picks is Minnesota getting?
No. Hear me out.
I gotta head out, guys. You guys have a good one, man.
All right,
background salute, man.
All right. So the thing about it is you can offer Minnesota 5 first-round draft picks and Obi and Mitch and Knox. This is just not all of that, maybe some of that, maybe all of it, right? Whatever it takes to get them, you got to do it, right? And then you know what I'm saying, you go get your Bradley Beal with with those other picks. Because what you don't take into account is we have the 2024 picks, we have the 2026 picks, we have a bunch of second round picks in 2023. You know what I'm saying? We have second round picks in 2021. I mean, we have a bunch of assets, man, that we can move. But what y'all are not looking at is y'all are looking at like, oh my God, this Escalade has everything. How are we gonna pay for it? Y'all need to start thinking about the Escalade and not what you're gonna pay for it. If you got it and you want it, you pay for it.
Yeah, but if that Escalade puts you in debt and you get into a car accident, you done. You just paid a bunch of money for a car you can't drive.
The thing is,
so you're saying if we get Cat and Bill and they both get injured, then we're stuck, right? That's the risk you got to take.
But
every
Freezy,
NBA that walks and talks is an injury risk.
What you sound like is the guy that, like the Knicks, if they tried to do this or whatever, if we're listening right now, it's like the Knicks would be the kid making minimum wage that's going to try to buy 2 Lamborghinis.
Right.
Or of a minimum wage salary. Like, it just doesn't work.
No, but y'all keep saying minimum wage, but the Knicks have assets. It's not like the Knicks don't have assets.
It would be
draft picks, but not players.
You just said get rid of all those assets. It would be like a kid winning the lottery and blowing it all on cocaine and trying to figure out why he didn't invest in a house.
No, man. The reason why you have money is to spend it when you need it. It's not to hold on to it. The reason why you save it is so that you can spend it when you need it, not just to say I have it.
So you're saying right now we are in a position where we need to spend the money. Is that what you're saying?
No, I said the reason why you have money is to spend it when you need it.
Right.
That's what I said.
So spend the money when you need it. Do we need to spend the money right now? Yes or no?
So when else are you going to spend it?
I'm just simple yes or no. Do we need to spend this money right now?
At this moment, I'm unclear. I don't want to answer. I would rather abstain from answering that question right now because we're only 18 games in.
Right. And therefore I'm not ready to, like, when I say I would need to spend that money, that is when I know without a shadow of a doubt that RJ is at least going to be the number 2 option on a trade.
Oh,
listen.
Now we talking about that's the reason why you make the trade.
No. Listen. I'll change
because
that.
y'all are gonna be the evergreen G's are gonna be like, I want to hold on to those draft picks.
No.
So the commissioner can say with the number 8 pick in the draft, the New York Knicks select Frank Ntilikina.
I didn't say
what?
Brown.
You held up a trade for Karl Anthony Towns for a shot at Frank Ntilikina.
Listen.
Kev would still do that.
You said RJ stays and Quickly stays, correct?
Yep, and Randall.
And Randall stays. All right. So RJ, Quickly, and Juju. Those are your 3 you keeping, right?
Right.
I am not ready to jump down that boat of getting rid of all of the other assets until I know without a shadow of a doubt that RJ is as fully developed as he needs to be, and Quickly is. You're talking about making that move right now. I'm saying that I'm not. Listen, championship teams are built with the cheapest amount of talent that you can possibly get. Right?
Oh, what?
Listen.
What are you talking about? Is Anthony Davis and LeBron James cheap?
Listen to me. Listen. Hold on. Before you jump down my throat.
It's not. This is false. I'm not jumping down your throat.
Yeah, you are. I didn't even finish my point yet.
You don't have to.
There we go. So you jumped down my throat. That's my point exactly. Listen.
No, you already dug your grave and jumped in it.
The Toronto Raptors built
one off of 3 torn Achilles and 8 torn ACLs.
Holy crap.
Wouldn't have won if it wasn't for that. And they mortgaged a future for Kawhi Leonard.
No.
Hey, Kawhi Leonard.
Hey, Zach, let him finish. Let him finish so we can see what he's talking about. Evergreen. Just go ahead.
All right.
Oh boy.
All right. The Toronto Raptors built that team through the draft and through the G League. They just so happened to make a big bold move after that team was developed for Kawhi Leonard that took them over the edge. Even if you want to go and look at the Lakers made 2 big bold moves. Well, no, really 1 bold move, which is what got them Anthony Davis, because they acquired LeBron James not off of a trade, but by signing him at the end of his contract from Cleveland. All right. So the rest of that team was built through the draft, right? You can go back and look at the San Antonio Spurs. That whole entire team was built through the draft, that dynasty team. Hell, you can even go back and look at the Detroit Pistons that won in 2003. That team was built through the draft. So what I'm saying is all of the talent that they had at that time was cheap. And what teams do is they develop their cheap talent, and once they feel that they are at a level to make a big, bold move, then they do it with the money and the assets that they have. So under Freezy's scenario, that would automatically imply that right now, Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett are the 2 guys that need to stay because they are fully developed enough for us to make a big move and get us Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal because they are ready. And I'm telling you, based off of that scenario, I'm not sure if RJ Barrett is. I'm not sure if Emmanuel Quickly is that guy right now.
You saved yourself.
Head on and say this is the point guard we need.
You saved yourself when you talked about the other franchise. When you bring up the Toronto Raptors first, who only won the finals because of injury, you lost it.
And so here's the thing, man.
You lost it.
To say Toronto is homegrown,
they're not.
I mean, come on, man. Toronto got Kyle Lowry from the Houston Rockets. He's drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies and was
right. And how much did they pay for him?
Right, but
it doesn't matter. It's not homegrown.
No. How much did they pay for him?
I can't remember. I think it was the first
homegrown.
They got him from the Houston Rockets off of a trade with picks. Did they not?
Right. For a first round pick, I think. But
got you. So that's what I mean by they're building teams through the draft.
That's not through a trade.
Right. And so but here's the thing.
He's gonna take everything.
Sorry to tell you.
He's gonna take they're using draft picks, is what I'm saying. They instead of paying Kyle Lowry
use the trade.
a big contract, they traded picks.
But Evergreen, you're missing my point. You're missing my point.
Kyle Lowry.
Hey, hold on. So check this out. What you miss is Emmanuel Quickly is a draft pick by what team? The New York Knicks.
Absolutely.
Right. And RJ Barrett is a draft pick by who?
By
the New York Knicks. So so I'm saying what I'm saying is this: don't automatically assume that I'm trying to run a bunch of free agents to a championship like that Detroit Pistons team you said. That Detroit Pistons team you said was a whole bunch of free agent guys and some trades. Because Chauncey Billups is not an original Detroit Piston.
Right.
Richard Hamilton is not an original Detroit Piston.
Chicago
Well,
guy.
Freezy's building through the draft. He's trying to give up draft picks for Carl. He's trying to draft Carl Anthony Towns,
right?
And Bradley Beal. So he's building to the draft, guys.
Oh, see what I mean? See, so what I'm saying is this: if you get, Chuck Jr.
I can't read it. I can't.
Zach is Chuck Jr.
Chuck Jr.
He's so condescending. It's crazy.
Yeah. So
difference between me and Chuck is I'm right.
Yeah. So Evergreen, what I'm saying is listen. I know you are scarred and have PTSD from Knicks failures in the past, right? But to fix that, go get Bill and Karl Anthony Towns and win your championship, right? We will be, and this is how we do it. We will beat the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they have KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, right? We'll beat the Boston Celtics in the second round. And you know Boston is one of our rivals. And in the first round, we'll knock off the Miami Heat. So we'll knock off the Miami Heat, Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets, and then beat maybe the LA Lakers for the championship. And then that way we will never have to worry about people.
Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal.
You know what this sounds like? This trade sounds like
Emmanuel Quickly.
This trade sounds like, let's do Carmelo Anthony times 2.
No, it don't.
No, see, Evergreen, I'm kind of with you on this because he just said, are you saying this year we'd beat all those teams?
Yes, that's what he's saying. Make the trade.
Yeah, see, there you go, Freezy. That's where you start talking out of pocket, man.
No, it's not out of pocket because the thing is okay. So in a 7-game series, which coach would you prefer? Steve Nash or Tom Thibodeau?
The one with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden.
Nah. Because in a 7-game series, it's not all about talent no more. It's about strategy. You've seen that in the playoffs. The teams with the most talent don't always win the championship.
Yeah, but those teams with the most talent don't have Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but the
Kyrie
teams
Irving,
beating
and
them,
James
but
Harden.
the teams beating them got a lot of talent though, Freezy.
Yeah.
You're in the playoffs.
So wait,
everybody's a good
so
coach.
you're
everybody's talented.
You're saying the Lakers this year didn't have? I mean, the Lakers last season didn't have like the most talent on that team. Come on, bro.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying.
Yeah,
What I said was in a 7-game series, who do you prefer, Steve Nash or Tom Thibodeau?
The one with Kevin Durant.
Because if you don't think Tom Thibodeau can win you a 7-game series, he don't need to be the coach.
No one's winning you a 7-game series with Cat and Beal against those guys just on coaching.
But it's not just Cat and Beal. It's not just
Cat. Okay, Cat, Beal, and Juju. Oh wait, or maybe Cat, Beal, and RJ versus a scoring.
Name the other 2 guys from the Nets.
Huh?
Name the other 2 guys in the starting 5 for the Nets.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with.
It could be you and I, Freezy.
You're talking about this season, right?
Wait. Wait. So let me do it this way. All right. So at point guard is Kyrie versus Emmanuel Quickly. You would take Kyrie, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately, he's losing that battle.
Yeah.
Right. So at shooting guard, you have Bradley Beal versus James Harden. James Harden,
yeah.
James Harden wins that battle.
You would take James Harden.
Yes.
All right. At small forward, you have RJ Barrett versus Joe Harris.
Or Caris LeVert. Well, no, Caris LeVert just left, right?
Gone.
He's gone. Okay, so
RJ Barrett.
Harris.
If we're, I mean,
okay.
They're gonna give each other the business.
Yeah, because RJ Barrett is a tough,
and that's not gonna serve.
Yeah, but hold on, guy. Bill is gonna give Harden the business too, though.
Nah.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Right. And then look at this. How was James Harden performed in the playoffs historically?
How was Bradley Beal and Karl Anthony Towns played historically in the playoffs?
But that's not the question right now. That's not the question right now. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't just say, well, James Harden because of such and such. Nah. How's James Harden performed in the playoffs?
Better than our guys.
What I'm saying is well,
much better than RJ.
I just think that argument is dumb. You know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta legit give people credit for the players that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just say like if James, you can't just say nah, Bradley Beal is a nobody. Come on, just because James Harden's on the other side. I mean, come on, dog.
No, I'm not saying, but the combination of those three guys is better than our combination.
Right.
Five guys?
They win.
So their combination of three guys is better than our combination of five guys.
Joe Harris can counteract quickly shooting.
Even
not
if
in 5 years,
five,
it won't
right?
be though.
Even if you do five,
no, that's
the
right.
Cancel out concept.
That's right,
Even
Jay.
if the cancel out concept, right? Kyrie wins the point guard position. James Harden and Bradley Beal cancel each other out, so there's no win. I would go so far as to say Joe Harris and RJ Barrett cancel each other out. Then you go to the 4, right? Then you go,
Kevin Durant versus Juju.
Juju's getting 8 up.
Yep.
And then you go to the 5, and that's the only battle that you get that's winning under Cat and DeAndre Jordan. So really, the only player that we have that's going to be worth a damn, that's going to be doing anything, is Karl Anthony Towns against DeAndre Jordan. We lose.
No.
We lose that.
No. And so what about Tibbs versus Steve Nash?
Steve Nash has actually played the game, was a 2-time MVP and a great basketball mind too.
I'm not ready to jump on the Steve Nash.
Tibbs is a better coach, but I'm saying at least Steve Nash.
Zach, how can you make the argument?
I'm saying the argument that Steve Nash has, the argument that we make for Steve Nash is the same argument that we can make for Tyronn Lue. Doesn't matter. He's got LeBron James on his team.
Or Steve Kerr with the Warriors.
Doesn't matter. He's got.
Steve
KD,
Kerr was never the best coach.
Harden and Kyrie on that team. So, in other words, Steve Nash doesn't have to coach. He just has to say, "Hey guys, play these sets, and we'll see what happens."
Y'all are bugging, man. The playoffs, coaching matters in the playoffs, man.
So
coaching matters in the playoffs.
So you telling me that Tyronn Lue actually coached that Cleveland team?
So you think Tom Thibodeau is going to be able to neutralize, just off his coaching alone, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden?
Never. I believe our coaching staff. I believe our coaching staff is better than Brooklyn's in a vacuum.
No doubt, but their players are better than ours.
Right. No, I understand what you're saying, but the thing is like what we're doing is making it convenient for Brooklyn because we want to have Brooklyn be the winner in this thing. Because
I don't want to have Brooklyn be the winner.
Because they have the pieces in place already, and we're projecting the pieces.
I say this, Uncle Freezy, I'll say this. If Brooklyn can trade Steve Nash for Tibbs tomorrow, they do it.
Done. Yep. But the thing about it is,
we still have Knicks fans questioning his coaching.
And so the thing about it is this is Tibbs' dream job.
So in his dreams, he might win that matchup.
So I throw this live.
Yeah, right.
I throw this live grenade out there, and the chat is like, "Uncle Freezy needs to be drug tested." Really? For wanting Karl Anthony Towns and Bradley Beal, I should be drug tested.
Hey, Ralph, I take Joe.
I say you should be drug tested for wanting them at this moment.
Hey, Ralph, I take Joe Ingles in a second on this team.
Yeah.
At this moment, you should be drug tested.
No,
you're willing to give up.
So I should not want Karl Anthony Towns right now. I should want him later.
Yes.
No,
we're not ready to hang on.
You're never going to be ready until you're ready. Like that aspect, you're never going to be ready.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
That's where I disagree.
That don't make sense. That's what I'm saying. We're using like the convenience argument for some stuff. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns. If a GM doesn't want Karl Anthony Towns right now, they should be drug tested.
Let's trade it. Let's trade for him in 10 years with draft picks, so then we can say we drafted a 15-year veteran.
Hey, y'all want to hear something? Y'all when I said they would trade Steve Nash for Tibbs right now, Will Salkin in the chat said they wouldn't do it because they have to sit Kyrie and that because Tibbs would sit Kyrie and Harden on the bench. Whatever I can do.
Yeah, when they start cooking, he'll sit them because of his rotation.
And he'd trade for Alfred Payton so he could start Alfred Payton.
It's like Kyrie, I know you cooking, but I need this kid, Alfred Payton, to start.
Bring back Nate Robinson. So you start him and Alfred Payton in the backcourt.
Yeah, hey, and you know what? You know what else? Evergreen, I ain't gonna lie to you. The only reason why I didn't also say pursue Dame Lillard is because we didn't have enough assets. If I could have got Dame Lillard also, I'd have traded that too. I would have traded everything, the kit and the caboodle, for guys that I know can play right now.
Listen, I'm not knocking trading that. I'm not knocking trading what you're saying to get that. I'm simply saying that I have not seen enough of RJ and Quickly to hang my hat on them and say Quickly's my starting point guard and RJ is my starting small forward, right? Like I'm saying
So what do you want? What makes you happy, Evergreen G?
And so what you're saying reminds me of when I took my Pops Osley Brothers record. I said, Pops, I want to take your Osley Brothers album, man, and take it down here so my homeboy Rodney can DJ with it. And he was like, DJ, I know you ain't talking about taking my thing out there to play that old hippity hop mess. I'm like, Pops, calm down, man. Hip hop is the future. Hip hop, the boy, they don't even make sense. They be talking all over the record. They be talking all over the music. And like, Pops, man, calm down, man. This hip hop thing is real. And so he like, they be talking like you can't even dance to the music because they be talking all over it. And I'm like, Pops, man, hey, rap music, hip hop is gonna be something. And Pops just couldn't get it. Couldn't get it, right? So I get out the military, like 1,000 years later, I get out of the military. Right?
Oh, Kyle Lowry's 1 year.
Yeah. And so
Kyle Lowry years.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry years, right. So I come back to Jersey City, and my Pops is playing this joint by Anika Mosley called "Here Comes the Hot Stepper," right? And so I'm like, Pops, I know you ain't listening to Anika Mosley. He's like, any kamikaze, kamikaze. I don't care what it is. It sounds good to me. And I'm like, oh, Pops, all these years ago, you told me hip hop wasn't nothing. And now you in here rocking hip hop. So that's what Evergreen G sounds like to me. That's what Evergreen G sounds like to me right now. Like my Pops right before hip hop, like my Pops in 1978.
I want to ask you something crazy.
Eddie Cheaper, why he named himself after Reefer? Hey, Pops, I don't know Pops, but it sounds good to me.
So I'm going to pretend I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves GM, and I want you as the resident Barrettier and Knicks GM, okay? So it's GM Zach's coach's desk. I want RJ Barrett. What are you going to need for RJ Barrett?
Nothing.
No, you got to give me something. Like, come on, something.
Right. So I feel like RJ Barrett is a championship winning player.
Right. So what are you going to want? We want to give you a couple draft picks and Gordy Jang.
Give me Anthony Edwards and 2 first-round picks.
You know where I'm going with this. Come on. You know you were going to say Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay. Okay. All right. So in a situation where it's Karl Anthony Towns. So this is the Knicks fix. Okay.
So I'm not giving you Karl Anthony Towns because I want RJ Barrett to play next to him. So I'll give you the ghost of Ricky Rubio, 2 first-round picks, and Gordy Jang, and that's I don't know. Maybe
only if Ricky Rubio's ghost shows up at night. I don't want a daytime ghost. He just messed up the flow, mess up the vibe. I don't want to see a ghost when I'm going in the refrigerator.
Tell you what, we'll take Kevin Knox too.
Oh, okay, that's all. That'll do it.
We'll get Kev W to admit he's a bust if you give us RJ Barrett.
Done.
You ruined it, Freezy. You were supposed to take Karl Anthony Towns. You know what you were doing.
So Karl Anthony Towns, this is what I would give up for Karl Anthony Towns. I'm starting with Obi Toppin and Kevin Knox, right?
I want RJ Barrett.
Kevin Knox is a throw-in, right? A throw-in.
What if I want RJ Barrett?
Hey man. So I had this Janet Jackson story that I never finished.
Oh God.
Did I tell y'all the Janet Jackson Evergreen G? Did I tell y'all the Janet Jackson story?
Chuck wasn't playing with these story impressions.
I've heard it. I've heard it before, but I wouldn't mind.
Chuck wasn't playing.
I heard you tell it on MBK.
Yeah. So anyway. So long story short. Me and Janet Jackson are like 2 feet away from each other, but we're separated by a guardrail. And in my mind, I'm like, this is Penny from Good Times, and it's now or never. So I got to spit my A game, right? So yeah. So that was the long story short. But anyways, for Karl Anthony Towns, the kit and the caboodle.
Oh no. Did you spit your A game?
Yeah, you got to finish that.
Dog.
This ain't no Birmingham, Alabama Sunday story. I want to hear about Janet Jackson.
Birmingham, Alabama. Nah, man.
Let me get a lick of your Sunday. That's what you said. You said, let me.
So I'll finish the Janet Jackson story. I promise Legion of the Knicks podcast, I'll do it on his channel. So because I lost a bet. You know what I'm saying? So I got to finish the story on Legion of the Knicks podcast channel. But for Karl Anthony Towns.
Shout out to Gmo. Shout out to Gmo.
Yeah. So for Karl Anthony Towns, it's the kit and the caboodle. And for those that don't know what that is the thread and the carrying case. So you get everything.
Well, what happens? What happens if Cat says, let's say Cat had a no trade clause, right? Let's just for this, theory. Let's say he has a no trade clause. I'm sure he doesn't, but let's say he does.
Right.
He says, I will waive my no trade clause if you fire Tom Thibodeau.
No. No, because I'm not. Even if I didn't like Tom Thibodeau, I'm not giving players power like that. I'm not giving the players the power like that. So Evergreen. So what I'm gathering is that you like what I said. You like the trade scenario. You like Quickly, Beal, RJ, Randall, Karl Anthony Towns. You just don't think it's the right time to do it.
He's working right now.
All right. So let's move on to something different, right? So let's move on to something different. And I want to wrap up in a few minutes, man, because I'm
I was about to say 3 hours and 30 minutes. I gotta eat.
Yeah, I gotta eat. You know what? Before I don't even want to throw the grenade in the room. I'm gonna save this grenade for Coach Zach. I'm gonna save it for Friday morning.
Nah, no, you're not. You gotta tell me now.
Nah, man, you got to wait. You got to be patient.
You got a grenade for me?
Yes.
Oh Lord.
And you are gonna love it in a sense that it's not gonna tickle your fancy, but it's gonna get you in argument mode.
No.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna save it for Friday morning. So thanks to everybody for coming through. I want to thank everybody that was on the video chat and the virtual chat. Hey, I'm gonna wrap up the live stream podcast right here. Thanks to everybody for listening. Make sure y'all check out the catalog of shows that we've done, featuring everybody, the Ghetto Intellect, Zach Coach's Desk, Evergreen G, and everybody else that came through. I'm losing my voice right now. It's crazy. So anyway, I think the best moment of the show is me noticing that teddy bear back there had his arm around the other teddy bear.
The best moment of the show was me busting Evergreen Green pissing on live.
Oh yeah, definitely. Or and I think the second part was Evergreen. It was him molesting that sandwich in public. Yo, Evergreen molesting that
the most hilarious part is they said Kwame Brown wasn't a bust.
All right, I legit started to throw on some porn music. I started throwing some porn music with Evergreen.
Oh no, we had another one. We had another moment. The Prince would never trade Kevin Knox for Ben Simmons head up. And said that's a hard no for him.
Yeah, bugging. He bugging.
You're gonna need 3,000 first-round picks the same year to let for Philly to take that.
Yeah, right. But anyway, I'm a rock. I will holler at y'all later. Thanks everybody for coming through. I love and appreciate y'all, man.